What up, what up, what up, what up, world? We got people in here, I'm sure. A2H live. I said too many H's. How you doing today on this great Friday? Cool.
I'm blessed. Got some rest,
Rest is always good. Rest is
focused,
always good.
organized, diligent, prayerful, hopeful.
For sure.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody
Hit
get
like
that.
and subscribe to the page, everybody. Like and subscribe to our tribe.
Yeah, I
I
want to
want
make
our
sure
numbers up,
everybody.
Mike. Like we impact too much for our numbers to look like this.
Well, I want to make sure people are getting their notifications or whatnot too.
That's very problematic because I still haven't gotten mine yet.
Haven't gotten yours yet. Haven't got mine yet either. Shout out to Jadarion's in the building.
We know how you two feel about us.
It is what it is, you know. We had some really heightened conversations in the last episode, the one that was in the studio. So, you
Yes,
know,
the Wednesday in studio show. For those of you who may like pick a day to catch us, Mike and I do a show now on Mondays from 12 to 2. The Wednesday show is in studio now. We got a little bit late start just due to some technical difficulties and some Atlanta traffic
yeah,
um, on Wednesday. But Wednesday's show is going to be tentatively around 4:30 to 5 on
hmm
Wednesdays. And of course, you know, if you're here with us now. But the in studio show has been fun so far. It's taken a little acclimation. I need I need a table for my iPad, my keyboard,
hmm
and might need a couple pillows for my back, Mike. I'm not those couches are for the 20 something club crowd. I'm more of a early 40 something book reading and writing crowd. So
Need some comfortability in there.
yeah,
People are
yeah,
asking what the
just a little leisure space, couple of small amenities.
well, what some of the topics are today. We're gonna be talking some new music. Love the Genius just dropped a dope project with Green Lantern. The
I think dope is an understatement.
Yeah, dope's an understatement.
I just got done listening to it
DrumWorks,
again.
DrumWorks dropped a dope project as well, and so does Static Selector. I mean, so there's a lot of good new music to talk about. Finally, I know people were talking about the fact that Ransom's new joint is crazy, but we hadn't gotten to that one yet. We're gonna get to that one. We're also gonna be talking about, especially since Love dropped what she dropped, and we had that Nikki conversation. We may be having some female MC conversation. I know Love hates it when women are lumped in that, but we can have that conversation as well.
I was trying to think of a way to categorize without dehumanizing or derogatory, because I know Love has mentioned it in rhyme and in interview how she feels about the labeling of it. When we unpack her project, it kind of gives some relevance to it.
Well, yeah, definitely, and we'll talk about that too. We're gonna talk about the top groups because all these lists are coming out. I want to speak to some criteria about what that
Yeah,
entails for the best groups because that's different than the criteria for the best MC. You know what I mean?
yeah, Mike D. These people ain't got no morals and no laws out here, Mike D. All right, give them the code, OG.
And we're gonna do some MC rankings today too. But first things first, man. There isn't there a game tonight?
There is a game this evening of the NBA variety.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this game? You think Miami's gonna take it since Denver took the previous game?
Told you I'm going to take the back and forth because I respect the squad that Denver has, but I respect Miami's ability to adjust and to make adjustments. I respect the organization. I respect the culture. I believe this is game 4. Tyler Hero's probably going to play. I haven't seen anything all day. I've literally been immersed in the music
Yeah, me either.
and my daughter today and just been at home. I mean, I've taken care of some other things, but that's pretty much been the day. Is it's like taking her to work and listening to the music. We started off the day riding the Loves Project while I took her to work. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
I've been pretty much digging on the music all day and taking notes. But
Esquire with the super chat says, any updates on the MC ranking today? Yes, we're gonna do that. We're definitely
yes,
gonna get into that.
yeah.
Um,
We still have MCs to put through the mix. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, what do you think happened to Miami in Game 3?
I think Denver happened to Miami. You know what I'm saying? I think not even Denver happened. Like usually, Stars win you games,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying this like with all seriousness. I saw I saw a little Shaq and Kobe type of domination from Jokic and Murray against Miami. Some of it is because it's Miami, size wise. Some of it is the times, because I'm not saying Jokic is Shaq or that Murray is Kobe.
Well, that's what they're
But I'm
saying.
saying,
Well, that's what Jeff Van Gundy is saying. I
oh, is that
mean,
what he's saying? I mean,
well,
I
I
haven't
mean, he
checked
didn't say
anything,
that
but
word for word, but they're saying, Jokic
maybe
would.
Shaq and Penny is better. Shaq and Penny is maybe better.
They're saying that Jokic would be this against the prime centers of all time.
No, 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 no. See, that's what I mean. Some of this is time, place, and space, and opportunity. If he's playing how about this? Let's say he's coming into the same league that Shaq and Alonzo Mourning came into, which means Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and Akeem Olajuwon already exist, right?
Yep.
Oh no, he'd be some. First of all, he wouldn't be Shaq, and if he was better than Mourning, it would be an argument just because about how dominant Zoe was defensively, especially a young Alonzo Mourning. Like a young Alonzo Mourning could legitimately go get you 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks a game, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't be like at 6'10". And so about Alonzo's defensive prowess and how the young him could go get you 22 and 10, it would be an argument. So he would be more of an Alonzo Mourning in the previous era. He would be Zoe or something close to. Like that would be
Do
his
you think
comp.
he
But
would?
he wouldn't be Shaq or David Robinson. He might be Patrick Ewing at his peak on his best years, but he's not no Shaq or David Robinson. Don't even kick that Akeem.
Do you think he would be doing this stuff on Dikembe Mutombo?
Ain't nobody doing that on Mutombo really like that. Not no prime Mutombo. I mean, let's forget Mutombo's first, Denver Nuggets is the first 8 seed to be the 1 seed, the Super Sonics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esquire with the super chat says also Midnight Marauders is better than Low End Theory because
First
one.
of all,
No, let me finish. He says,
no. Let me start.
no, let me finish. We gotta at least let the people finish their super chat. He says because one, the top 5 are stronger on Midnight Marauders. 2, the worst 5 are stronger and more consistent and better beat for beat.
I'm not trying to hear any of that.
I disagree with the worst 5 being stronger.
The worst 5 is the problem.
Yeah.
The first five is where Esquire has the most weight, since we're gonna let him finish.
I agree with that. Yeah.
The first five on Midnight Marauders versus the first 5 on the Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders. The rest of the album, the Low End Theory.
I agree. I think from end to end, the Low End Theory just has it. I mean, Midnight Marauders is dope as well.
It has a feel that Midnight Marauders didn't have too. I think feels of albums really, really matter. It feels a certain way on the Low End Theory. Like in Midnight Marauders, you can tell that they've mastered a lot of things, but it doesn't feel as connected. It doesn't feel as cohesive. It's not as vibey. And that's not to say that it's not epic. It's just like, I mean, the Low End Theory, Mike, is that not like a top 10-ish album?
I think so. I think
yeah.
so.
Like there are a lot of people that think the Low End Theory is the best rap album ever. So it's like, I don't hear anybody say that about Midnight Marauders.
Well, people speak highly of Midnight Marauders as well, but yeah,
like there's T-shirts running around of the Low End Theory still. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's kind of.
I think the difference between how they're heralded is from Tribe fans, you hear the back and forth between what's better, Midnight Marauder and the Low End Theory, but from just hip hop fans in general, the Low End Theory seems to be the one that gets chosen out of the two.
It's the way it plays, Mike.
Yeah. I personally love People's Instinctive, but I will admit that the Low End Theory is a better album, And I can see how somebody could personally like Midnight Marauders better.
Hold on. It's not that it's better, Mike. It's just superior. I left my wallet and El Segundo came on the other day in my car. I was going to see my pops.
Well,
Mike, I was thinking to myself, I don't even know if I left my wallet in El Segundo would make the Low End Theory.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing about El Segundo, and this is why I don't like when you bring El Segundo up.
That was a single, Mike, so don't make it seem like.
No, okay. Let me finish. You got to think about the time period, and you got to think this is the time period that RZA was making songs that sound like the Fresh Prince as well. This is Tribe's version of making a Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince record, and so El Segundo is a one of one in that sense. Like I said, there's nothing else they ever made that sounded like it because that was their buy-in to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? And so, with that being the case, El Segundo's actually a dope record for them jumping on a trend. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, of course it wouldn't have made the Low End Theory because it wouldn't have even been made during the Low End Theory time period. They're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and sell them on this because this is what's working. And like Q-Tip said on the documentary, y'all like this shit. Wait till you hear Bonita. Now that's Tribe.
And with all that being said, it still wouldn't make the Low End Theory.
No, I agree with that. But again, you act like that's a record. You act like that's a record that Tribe made for Tribe. Clearly,
all I'm
they
saying
did.
is that like if a record like that is on an album that got 5 mics in the source, and on the next album it wouldn't even make the cut. What does that say about that album?
Right. El Segundo,
I'm not saying it to discredit I Left My Wallet and El Segundo. I'm giving you some gravitas about the level of song making and innovation and instrumentation that's taking place on the Low End Theory.
El Segundo's a dope record.
Like the level is just significantly higher, is what I'm saying.
El Segundo's a dope record just in general, but for Tribe, it's not so much. You know what I'm saying? Like if you gave El Segundo to another act.
Like, would you put? Yeah. Is that a top 20 Tribe record?
No.
Okay.
It's not. Esquire with the super chat says, "How often do y'all play Sky Pager? What in IDR? What's IDR? See,
well, it's about Case of the.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
I like that record. Actually, IDR is the one that I would play the most of those three.
I mean,
Sky Pager, I feel you. What leads into scenario?
Whoa. Sky Pager's dope.
Sky Pager's dope.
First of
all of these songs are dope. But you know what? If we're gonna do that,
hold on, pause. Nuh-uh.
If we're gonna do that, we got to pull up Midnight Marauders.
That's fine. You pull up Midnight Marauders.
Let's see.
First of all, see, this is what I'm saying. Why he ain't bring up verses from the abstract? Butter. Check the rhyme. Anybody? How about Jazz?
Honestly, I think the weakest song between two albums is Keep It Rolling.
I'm cool with that.
If we're gonna be honest, you know.
I like Sky Pager.
I like We Can Get Down, but it's just cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we'll say. The big moments on Midnight Marauders dwarf the small moment. Huh?
See, that's what I mean. Like, how about this? The Low End Theory is insightful in the way that Midnight Marauders isn't too. You know what I'm saying?
The Low End Theory is all on a similar level, whereas the Midnight Marauders, its home runs are much better than the non-home runs on there.
Oh my God.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, usually it's debatable between the Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders. How is the gap between the two? How is there a gap between the two since you also have The Cool and It's Dark and Hell is Hot over Midnight Marauders? Where is Midnight Marauders on the album list? I would put Midnight Marauders over The Cool personally.
Comparable, close.
Yeah, I would put Midnight Marauders over The Cool.
No, I can understand why you feel that way. Okay, so it's like. I see what people are saying. Like, and this is what I mean. If a song were to come up on Midnight Marauders randomly, and a song were to come up on the Low End Theory randomly, and this is me giving some credence to the Midnight Marauders argument. Just because, this is what I'm saying, part of why people love Midnight Marauders is because they mastered what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about an album, though. I'm not talking about the mastery of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The way that the Low End Theory plays as an album plays significantly better than Midnight Marauders. As in, it plays like a top 10 rap album. Midnight Marauders doesn't. Midnight Marauders, when you hear some of the songs arbitrarily, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were to just be playing a playlist and Oh My God came on, or Lyrics to Go came on, a Suckin' Nigga came on, or Award Tour came on, or Electric Relaxation came on, you'd be like, man, but when you play it together, it doesn't sound as good as the Low End Theory at the end of the day.
Yeah, end to end, it just doesn't.
End to end, it just doesn't, and it's kind of always been that way.
Lyrics to Go is crazy though. Award Tour is crazy.
That's what
Electric
I'm saying.
Relaxation
if you
is
just hear it
crazy.
song for song arbitrarily, you would say to yourself, "Oh no, Midnight Marauders is better." But if you were to sit down and play the album from end to end, then you'd be like, "No, that album's still better than that album, even though this shit sounds super clean, like masterful." It's like, no, that album's better.
I heard Award Tour playing during the NBA Finals, and I was like, man, this record's great.
I play Award Tour every week, Mike.
It's
There's
awesome,
not a week
man.
that goes by that I don't play Award Tour.
Aged very well. CJ Kidd with a super chat says, you have Midnight Marauders at 22 ahead of The Diary and behind Reasonable Doubt. Can it move ahead or can it be pushed back? Talking about your list, Coop.
Yeah, man.
Like I
was saying, even when we were working on that list, list was still in flux. Like with your input and the people's input, that was my list. That's not like the list. Right. I was kind of just giving like a skeleton.
And like you put it together so fast too. It's not like
right.
All those things.
I just gave you a couple bass lines and some hi hats. You know what I'm saying? Like the beat ain't done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
CJ Kidd says, would love to see you guys use the album rubric. Well, we're going to come up with a group rubric today, too. Our man with the super chat says, peace, Coop. What are you smoking? LOL. The Cool is not better than Midnight Marauders.
I think you're underestimating the power of the Cool, even though you might be right. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that if you really listen to the Cool as an album, like, how about this? How many great songs do you think are on Midnight Marauders? Like, how many songs? Great classic songs.
Off the top of my head, I'm going to go 4 great songs. And they're very great.
That's Award Tour, Electric Relaxation, Lyrics to Go, and what's your 4th one?
Actually, I'm going to go 5. I say Midnight, and I say, there might be 6. God Lives Through is great as well. And I was going to say Midnight. And the other one that I was thinking about was The Chase Part 2.
Okay. So what do you think of Go-Go Gadget Flow? What do you think of The Coolest? Like the song The Coolest? What do you think of Paris, Tokyo? What do you think of Dumb It Down? The actual song, not Dumb It Down in his podcast with his brothers, The Haters Ball, but the actual song Dumb It Down.
Dope record. I always loved it.
Streets on Fire.
Streets on Fire was one of my favorites when I got the album.
Hip Hop Saved My Life. It's a lot on the Cool, man.
Those are dope songs, but I don't think they're on the level of these tribes.
I think you might be right. You might be right when I'm saying it out loud. Mike, Streets on Fire is
awesome. Michael Williams.
I don't know, Mike. There are times when I hear that record, it's like that's his rare air right there.
Mm-hmm. Michael Williams with the super chat says, if Lauryn Hill and Andre were part of Wu-Tang, where would they rank in the group in terms of lyricism?
Fascinating.
I think Andre is one of those guys that I think if you put him in a group setting, he's always going to appear to be the dopest. You know what I'm saying?
He's not better than the Jizzle lyrically. He said lyrically.
He said lyricist. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's not better than the Jizzle lyrically. Okay.
Said lyrically. Not overall MC. They said lyrically.
I got you. Okay. Overall MC, you're just talking about lyrics. Lyrically, probably 2 or 3, maybe.
Who are you talking?
Who, Dre?
Oh, what about Lauren? Dre and Lauren.
About 3 or 4 or something like that. You think Lauren's a better lyricist than Deck? I know y'all are big Deck fans out there. I am too. I'm not trying to sound like that, but
Lauren's a better lyricist than Andre. What you talking about Deck for?
Think she's a better lyricist than Andre? I disagree with that, but
okay.
I mean, what evidence do you have to point to that? Like, where do you go to point to that?
Doo-Wop, Lost Ones, Final Hour, the verse on Guantanamera. What's the other verse?
You think those are like lyric,
How many
lyrically
mics?
advanced records like that.
How many mics? Ready? She's better than Andre. I didn't say advanced. I said better than Andre. Yeah, lyrically she's better than Andre.
I mean,
yeah.
no, we're not gonna do that
I
to
always felt that way.
Dre's verse on
Always felt that way.
Aquemini. Dre's
I
verse
felt that way.
on Rosa Parks.
Hold on,
Dre's
first of all,
verse
Lauren's verse on how
on
many mics is better than his
Elevators.
verse on
Like,
Aquemini.
huh?
Her verse on how many mics is better than his verse on Aquemini.
I disagree with that 100%. 100. I think you're giving her too much gas. Now, if you were saying her verse
you're giving him too much
on,
gas.
I think if you were saying her verse
gas.
on
No.
Inequity,
Back up. Let's back up. Beep.
go ahead.
Beep.
Her verse on How Many Mics ain't that. It's cool. It's dope, but it ain't that.
It's the same context that Dre's talking from. It's just from a female's perspective, quite frankly, female East Coast perspective. I get mad frustrated when I rhyme, thinking of all the kids that try to do this for all the wrong reasons. Seasons change, mad things rearrange, but it all stays the same. Like the love's Doctor Strange, I'm tame like a... Got your whole crew singing, if only they knew that. It was you who was irregular, soldier soul from secular music that's whack. Plus you used that loop over and over, claiming that you got a new style. No.
That's
Dre's
cool.
verse ain't better than that shit.
And then let me
Need
go.
some
Like,
words like the...
can I go?
Need some hope like the words maybe...
I want to say, you said hers. Let me say his. No. Stop, cool. You said hers. Let me say his. Twice upon a time there was a boy who died. Yet live happily ever after. But that's another chapter. Live from Home of the Brave. For dirty dollars. Baby ballers. Beauty parlors. Bowling ball and parlors. Street scholars. Majoring in culinary arts. You know how to work bread, cheese, and dough from scratch. But see the catches you can get caught. Know what you're selling, what you bought. So cut that big talk. Let's walk to the bridge. Meet me halfway. And you may see some chillins dead up on the pathway.
You're talking about lyrics, Mike.
Spin pole babies walking slowly to the candy lady. It's looking bad. Need some words like, need some hope like the words maybe, if, or probably. More than a hobby when my turntables get wobbly, they don't fall. Come on now. Nah.
We talking lyrically, right?
Yeah.
See, you talking about how he delivers it, Mike. That's what I keep trying to tell you about Andre.
What did she say on there that blew your mind?
No. What I'm trying to express to you, Mike, is that Andre's word usage and lyrical capability is not like Lauren's. His capability is how he delivers his style to you.
Well, what did she say in that verse that blew your mind like that? Lyrically.
Soldier soul for some secular music that's whack. Do you see the word usage in the diction?
That seemed pretty basic.
Soul,
I'm sorry.
your soul for some secular music.
Soldier soul
that's
for some secular
dissonance.
music.
Mike, that's consonance, dissonance, and alliteration in 2 bars. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
I don't.
Right, I mean,
You're doing the
Mike,
Obama stuff. You're just trying to talk over our heads now.
You know what I'm going to do, Mike? I'm going to have Leroy Green come on the show and explain literary devices to you again.
You're doing the Obama stuff.
You talking about how Dre puts stuff together, and I hear what you're saying. He may make it sound flyer than Lauren, but he's not flyer than Lauren. He never has been. I didn't feel that way in 96. I don't feel that way today. I told you lyrically, like, she's supreme.
Yeah,
keep trying to tell you that. Like, she's high end, so she would be 2 behind the Jizza. He would probably be 3, maybe 4, but she's ahead of him. And we got evidence of typical rap songs to prove it, too. What say you about my full song evidence that she's a better lyricist?
Now, I would say as far as like making a full song.
Where are you going to go when I say, okay, Mike, he did a great verse on Aquemini. I got songs where she did 3 great verses. Go, Mike.
Yeah, now if we're talking about as an overall solo MC, yes. But we're talking about...
He asked where he's placing her lyrically. Wouldn't you place the person that... Mike, wouldn't you place
Can I finish?
No, you can't. Because I want to know, because now I have a question. Damn the other shit. I want to know if lyrically is what we're talking about. Wouldn't you take the person who you know lyrically can deliver 3 verses over the person that you don't know that about?
You changed the argument. The guy asked...
I'm not changing the argument. I'm asking you a question.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. The guy asked, in the context of the group of Wu-Tang, where would they rank? And since we're talking group talk, that's where I have Dre. Now, if we're talking about just them as solo MCs, of course, I'm the person that said Dre doesn't have an individual song with 3 verses. So, yeah.
Mike, you backsliding like a pimp.
I'm not backsliding. I'm just telling the truth. We said the question was the context of the group. That was the question. That wasn't as a solo MC.
Right,
if you ask me who was the better solo lyricist, it's Lauren.
Mike, bar for bar, how about this, Mike? On Enter the Wu-Tang, there's still solo material on Wu-Tang Forever.
That
Solo
wasn't the
material.
question. They said in the group.
But what I'm saying is that you pick the person who flexes on the mic the best. We have evidence that Lauren is a better flexer on the mic. We did.
I disagree with that. King
It
with a
still
super
applies,
chat
Mike. It
says,
still applies. The same rules that you feel about
who
Andre
do
as
people
a
hold
soloist.
higher and when they flex on the mic? Clearly,
Mike,
it's Andre.
you can't change the argument about Dre to fit this argument. If he's not better in the solo MC category, he's not better in the group category either, because you don't have enough evidence in case, even in Lauren's case, we don't have enough evidence because even Lauren.
Honestly, man, Lauren's the one person you really can't make that argument with Dre on, because he has more rap verses than she does, even with her solo.
I don't believe
album.
that, actually, Mike. I actually don't believe that totally, because she's actually done full rap songs.
But when is she really featured on people's stuff? She don't do that.
No, I mean, she's done verses, Mike. I mean, how about this? I mean, the last great verse I heard from either of them came from her. How about that? Bow.
That verse was cool. It was dope. King with
Mike,
the super chat.
It was almost our verse of the year until Nas dropped Magic. You talking about dope. It was cool.
No, it was dope.
It was the verse of the year until Nas dropped Magic. Stop saying the verse was cool.
She did her
thing. You see how
thing.
you tried to discredit her?
No, I think, a large part of it was because we got Lauren. Was that verse better than Andre's verse on Life of the Party?
Yes, way better.
I don't think so.
Matter of fact, her verse on Nobody's better than anything he's done the last decade, Mike. I don't know what.
So Lauren's verse on Nobody is better than Andre's verse on Life of the Party.
Last decade. What did I stutter?
Okay. We should put a poll out there on that.
Did I stutter?
Let me put a poll out there on that. Let me get to these super chats real quick. King with the super chat says, when you guys are going to review, when are you guys going to review Galvin Music Play The Villain? And we are some timeless classics. Man, we got to get to the Galvin. There's so much music, man. Even in a slow year, it's still so much music. Let me see.
Just send me a link so I don't have to look for it like I had to look for Black Star's album last year or Ransom's album today, which I still didn't have time to listen to.
People said shit wasn't verse of the year. Listen. Drum work.
It didn't win verse of the year, but didn't nobody ask them either. And what was verse of the year that year, Mike? You was trying to pick Freddie Gibbs' verse on the Boldy James and said that you thought it was better, I think. I was like, you nuts. Like, don't nobody believe that.
I love Lauren, man, but sometimes we can give people more points. I feel that.
All my time is spent focused on my freedom now. Why would I join them when I know that I could beat them now? The fuck are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? Maybe we're not hearing the same things.
I guess not, man.
I don't know what you know what bar work is. I don't know what y'all's definition of it is. I don't know, Mike. Maybe we need to give Lil Uzi Vert a little Yachty, like some run on here so we can get some things like adjusted, since Lauren's bar is just okay all of a sudden.
No, they're dope. I ain't saying that.
It's wild.
I mean, it's dope. But I'm just saying, man, the Akumanai verse is better than the How Many Mics verse.
It's not, Mike, but
that's fine. Man. Like, which one do you want to put in the poll? You want to put Life of the Party and Nobody, or you want to put the Akumanai verse and How Many Mics?
I mean, Mike, we have time. We can put them both in. Whichever one you want to start with.
Okay, we'll start with the Nobody and the Life of the Party. Let's see.
I don't even remember the Life of the Party verse, Mike.
Let's see. What's the better verse?
You want to know why? Because I've heard so many verses.
Well, we haven't heard any verses from Lauren. That's probably why you think that one's so great, too.
Well, it's better than what you did. At least she does typical rap songs. I'm going to keep saying that shady shit for a minute.
Let's see. All right, got the post up. Let me get to some of these super chats real quick. NDU Jam says, my circle, it can't be broken, open, cutthroating, provoking, record promoting, toting, choking on the words like smoking. Because we soft-spoken doesn't mean that we forgotten. Your booty smell rotten. Lauren with the bars. J.I. Designs of the Super Chat says, what are y'all thoughts on Tyler Creator's statement about the 10 list versus your personal favorites? Need to see his whole comment, but we might look into that when we talk in the group discussion.
I'm going to say, yeah.
CJ Kidd with the Super Chat.
I'm not privy to the statement.
Super Chat with CJ Kidd with the Super Chat says, what puts Reasonable Doubt over Midnight Marauders? I just think it's a better album, personally. Um, let's see. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "What up, A2HH? What up, Leroy?" Says, Baku, on the subject of literary devices, you should break that down sometime because that's actually a whole community that discusses that online every week now. More on that later, my G. You know what? This is tied. We got 50 votes, and the shit was tied 50-50. I guess we need to run it to 70. Esquire with the super chat says, "Walk into the hole you dug yourself."
No, it looks like Lauren's
F
up
for projection.
51-49. It looks like Lauren's up 51-49 is what it looks like.
Okay, with 55 votes. We're going to run this one to like 70 votes, or what's the number need to be?
I mean, Mike, whatever you feel like you need to do to win. I mean, we already got to the votes in Lauren.
Well, let's go to 70. I mean, no, because when it was at 50 votes, I know we said 50, it was 50-50. I mean, cool. Now it's 50-50 again. So, to be fair, we're at 61. Let's get it to 70. Michael Williams with the super chat says, in terms of pure athleticism, who is superior prime, Jordan or LeBron? I say pure athleticism, Jordan, in my opinion. But if someone said LeBron, I get it. 48 inch verticals don't come a dime a dozen.
I think LeBron genetically is designed better than Mike.
I can feel that.
Athletically, Mike is designed better than LeBron. Get what I'm saying?
We're at 70 votes. It's 51% to 49% Andre. What do you want to do here? You want to stop here?
I feel like when I saw it, it was 51. That's whatever. No, like I said, Mike, whatever you got to do to win, Mike.
I don't want to be like that. We're at 70. It's 51 Andre. Do you want to go? I mean, we can keep it going.
Yes. Let's go to 100.
You want to go to 100? All right. 30 more votes, guys.
More people in here?
Yeah. 30 more votes.
Votes. Including from all the shady people who be watching us and stealing our stuff.
Mad Max with the super chat.
Vote too. You already in here not subscribing to the page and doing what you're supposed to do and capping on our material. Least you could do is vote on the poll.
Mad Max with the super chat says, that nobody...
Just because I said something shady. It's like everybody hit Andre. We hate Coop.
Mad Max with the super chat says, that nobody verse is not better than one verse Lil Sims had on her album that year. Cole Punch the Clock in verse was better than the Nobody verse as well.
First of all, the Punch the Clock verse made my top 20 list. It's not better than the Lauren verse. Next.
Thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up in the chat. We need to get some more people up in here. We got 77 votes right now. You want to talk about this drum work album?
For Andre now, it's embarrassing. Just cut the vote, Mike. They're just gonna vote for Andre just to spite me.
No, that's not what it was. I mean, it was close. It was close.
No, it's okay.
Do you want to do the Kumina verse against the How Many Mics first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see.
I really don't be listening to no damn Life of the Party, though. Neither do y'all niggas. I don't even, and I don't know where y'all be or who y'all be with that y'all be playing that record. I just know y'all won't be where Coop be. Just understand that.
Let's see. Andre on a Kumina.
Mama and your auntie in the car going to the family reunion list to the Life of the Party. Is that where you at? Because I do that like maybe once a year, but like, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
All right.
I be thinking about this, Mike. Sometimes a better verse for me is like the stuff that I actually play over and over again. It's like niggas in stream running around playing Life of the Party. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, he had the better verse. It's like, yeah, when you play it. If it's so much better, when you play that song.
Well, right. Hey, I thought it was about literary devices. I don't know.
No, the literary devices on Nobody are like far superior to Life of the Party. But like that's a whole nother conversation too.
What did you think about this Drumwork album? Drumwork put out a mixtape. Hold on, let me get to that graphic.
Hold on. Don't we need to talk about Wayne and this Versus thing first?
We do. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, I think I was going on the previous.
Dig off into our Drumwork dig and then the love dig.
Okay, Wayne recently said that nobody could beat him in the Versus. I know we don't believe that, but I think that the proper thing to do here is to ask who all would beat Wayne in the Versus.
No, because that's a longer list than people really want to go to.
That's a longer list?
Who love him.
This is what I want to say real quick.
Rap. So Go ahead.
No, this is what I want to say real quick.
Okay.
I think with somebody with a catalog like Wayne's, it's more difficult for you to prepare for a versus than it is, let's just say somebody like a T.I. You kind of know what's coming. Nigga, you gonna get You Don't Know Me. You gonna get what you know. Like, Wayne's catalog is so expansive, the features and the different phases of his career. He said he doesn't even remember, what's on the card of 3 versus what's on the card of 2, 1, 4, and all those things. So how are you even gonna formulate a versus in the first place? So I think that even we're looking at it in a vacuum, but from a practical standpoint, it's going to be tougher for him anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because the block is hot and all that stuff from the early Cash Money's not going to play well.
That stuff's not going to play well.
Yeah.
Not the stuff that he made, per se.
Yeah. He ain't juvie.
Not then, no. I think you're right. Part of the problem with his catalog is actually the expansive nature of it and the phases and the stages of it, because he's been at this so long at a relatively high level. Sometimes the level has been thought of as the best in the game. Sometimes the level's just been above average rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes the level's been third in the totem pole on a 4-man group. You know what I'm saying? He's had a lot of different phases and a lot of different stages. Most of your stuff usually comes from your peak phases and stages. And so I think instead of unpacking everybody else's catalog, you and me should maybe run down what we think his 20 best songs are right quick for this format, is what I thought. Like, what comes to your head when you think about Wayne for this? First thing I thought was Go DJ.
I'm with that for the notoriety. I think that's really, if we want to keep it real, that's his coming out party.
The show like that.
That's his coming out party as a solo artist that we know of. It should
be the coming out party for him as a versus too. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it would age though. I mean, let's just put him.
Go DJ.
Let's just put him up against his contemporary, right? You put Go DJ up against, let's just say T.I. does Bring Him Out. Bring Him Out's the better record. I'm not a huge fan of either one.
See, that's why I'm asking you to let's just do Wayne stuff.
Okay.
And as soon as I asked you to do it, you went to T.I.
It's a versus. But go ahead.
Well, right. But so I would think Go DJ. Hustler Music. Right? You think Fireman?
I think we would say that, but I don't think he would play that.
You sure?
I'm sure. I think he's left that Wayne behind.
He's playing Go DJ. So he left. So you think? So he can play Go DJ, but he can't play Hustler Music?
I think Go DJ for the nostalgic value of where it put him at the time, but Hustler Music
is actually one of his better records, Mike.
It is.
That he actually released as a single.
It is.
Like this is also you play your best shit.
It is, but it's also a hit record thing too, and it's nowhere near one of his biggest hits. You know what I mean?
Okay. So this is why I'm asking these questions, because some of his best stuff, Mike, ain't really hits like that.
I agree. Very Jay-Z like in that way.
What do you think about 6 foot, 7 foot then?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna do that.
Okay. What about She Will with Drake?
I don't think he would do that.
John with Rick Ross? I
don't think he would do that either. I like these songs, by the way.
Got Money with T-Pain?
I think he would do that.
Mike, that song hasn't aged. That song has aged more horribly than all the other songs that I've named that you're not picking.
I agree. But it's more notable.
But Mike, listen to what I'm saying. Where in your rationale, Mike, do you think an artist is supposed to play the song that hasn't aged well versus the songs that have? Because you just said no to songs that have aged well, and then you picked the song that hadn't aged well.
When you are a crossover.
So when you're worried about
I'm just Wayne trying to answer
verses, it seems like when you're worried about Wayne in the verses, though, it's like, well, Mike, you're not picking his best songs because I'm throwing the dopest shit out to you, and you're picking Got Money, and that's my point.
Well, this is my point. When you have somebody with such an expansive catalog, the more notarized records might not be as good as the grassroots records, but he's such a popular figure. He's going to play the records that play into that audience he crossed over to more than he would play You know
But
what I'm
why would you
saying?
play records that an audience doesn't feel like that anymore versus the records that they would really want to hear from you that are great, that have stood up better, that your audience is actually playing? Like, what I'm trying to tell you is that his audience that love him ain't playing Got Money like that, but they do play fucking She Will. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
think the best way for us to actually, with somebody like Wayne with a catalog like his, I think the best way for us to really quantify this, we need to look at what his set list looked like when he performs. What songs is he performing? You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff you're talking about, I agree with, but him as an artist with the big
Well,
audiences that
that's
he sees, he doesn't have anywhere to quantify these things. You know what I'm
see when
saying?
you're saying set list, it's like what from what era, Mike? That's what I'm saying.
From
It's
the
like
most
you can't
current
say that.
era. I mean, I'm talking about his set list now, because
His
now
set
we
list
can
now
look
ain't like
back
his
at
set list in
everything.
his prime, Mike, where most of this stuff would come from. That's not fair. If we were to do his set list now, it's not like he's on some sort of greatest hits tour. So no,
So,
that's
what do you
not
think his
accurate.
set list looks like now?
Hold on, let me ask you something. It probably depends on where he is.
Let's see.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you something. What do you think about Lollipop? Would Lollipop be one of the records that he plays?
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of Lollipop, but I
See,
think he
Mike,
would
this is
play.
what I'm trying to tell you. For people that know Wayne and love Wayne, like they're over Lollipop and Got Money and are holding on to the other records. I think you're holding on to the wrong version of Wayne, Mike.
Well, all right.
You're holding on to the popular version of Wayne, like that ain't that ain't the core though, and that ain't the shit that people really want to hear. And even Wayne know that. Wayne don't be out here performing Lollipop like that.
Well, I got a set list right here. I got a set list from May 21st, 2023. You want to hear it?
No, because it don't matter because it's his
What
set
you
list in
mean it don't matter? You
2023.
just said what he don't want to, what he doesn't want to play.
Like, is it a greatest hits list or is it just a show?
It's a
And where
set
is he when he's
list.
doing the show? Go ahead, Mike. Mike, Nas performed Silent Murder overseas the other night, and everybody in America's going crazy because you want to know why? Because he don't perform that song here. Because you want to know why, Mike? Where you perform affects your set list. That's why I'm trying to express to you that it don't matter.
Well, he's performing. I got a performance from Los Angeles. Let's see. Go ahead, because I don't even see this set list. It says it was a set list, but yeah, I'm not seeing it.
No, I'm just saying set list is based on market, based on demographic. You know, there are people that work for you and that work for the team that tell you it's like, no, we need to play these records tonight because these are the records that pop in this region.
Right.
Right. So set list isn't going to affect his like 20 in a verses. And what I'm saying is that stuff that you think is great, like Got Money hasn't aged well, Mike. Like, and I'm telling you, like he know it and his fan base knows it. It's like he might perform it like for show purposes, depending on where it still like pops or sparks at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if he's playing stuff like Got Money and Lollipop, oh well, he fair game.
Hold on, let me get to these super chats real quick before they stop. Jay Short with the super chat says Lauren's genius is not just her bars, it's her cadence and delivery. Listen to How Many Mics and Big Boy 8 Dre on Aquemini, especially that third verse. Mad Max of the super chat says, what Lauren say better than the line Cole had about the start of Christianity?
We're not about to have that argument today up on here. Okay.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Swiss doesn't want to do Wayne versus 50 just of the size difference. Dumbest ish I ever heard.
Right, because the size of 50's hits shouldn't matter.
Mad Max of the super chat says,
we're talking about the size of the hits, right? Because you know 50 got bigger hits, right?
Yeah, he does. Wayne can't even see 50. Wayne has popular songs, not super classic records.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Jay Short with the super chat says, Wayne's best matchup would probably be 2 Chainz. Lots of features, mixtapes, and metaphors. Esquire with the super chat says, y'all underrate Teenage Wayne. Clear the Set and Block Burner are fire. I love Block Burner. Not to mention that he didn't curse and he was still as hard as Juvie and BG. He was dope, but he didn't have the songs that they had.
I like F the World.
Mad Max of the super chat says Wayne gets gas because of his flow, and look at just the southern. He's looked at as just a Southern Method Man. Interesting. I've heard that comparison before too. Actually, Mad Max. DJ Bruce Almighty with the super chat says mixtape Wayne is overrated. Yeah, he rapped good, but nowhere near the best. His fans love those because his overall catalog is overrated. That's an interesting perspective. You think people elevate the mixtape Wayne because the actual record Wayne isn't as I guess heralded. I don't know. 36 Chambers
Yes.
says Wayne's beats. Wayne beats most in the proper versus matchup. Christopher Hogan with the super chat says the South love the Hot Boys. Wayne is more street. Let's see what else we got
I
here.
get what y'all are
Chat.
saying, but this is what I'm saying.
I found the set list too. I think it's
Fine,
interesting.
you know what? Let's go ahead, man.
Okay, this is what he performed on one of his most recent shows. Starts off with Mr. Carter, Can't Nobody, My Mind, Best Rapper Alive, Drop the World, Blunt Blowing, 6'7", Beat Build, John is on there, La La, Hustler Music, Birdman Jr., Cash Money Millionaires, Rich as Fuck, Single, Bitches Love Me, Lollipop, Mrs. Officer, Comfortable, Mirror, How to Love, She Will, Cannon, Freestyle or whatnot, Watch My Shoes, Ice Cream Paint Job, Wasted, I'm a Beast, Ask Them Hoes, I'm Me, Rollin', Go DJ, Every Girl, Pop That, HYFR, Motto, Ain't Gonna Answer, God Did, Steady Mobbin', A Millie. A Millie was the
See how
closer.
much? You see how much stuff that was?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you just picked the best stuff like I was doing. Now notice every song I named he played.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's some of his best stuff. He knows it.
Okay.
She Will, some of his best stuff. John, some of his best stuff. 6 foot, 7 foot, some of his best stuff.
John
you
was
play your
hard.
best stuff. You play your best stuff. Fuck all that happy shit.
You don't think
Play
he
your
would play
best stuff.
Lollipop at all, though? I think that record might be too big to not play.
Hustler Music. See, here's the thing. When you're saying got money, it's like, no. He got Bitches Love Me. I'd rather play that. I think Long As My Bitches Love Me is a better record, too.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
I never liked Lollipop.
It's like, when you got records like that, why would you play Lollipop in a versus?
Because it's huge. But I agree with you.
So is My Bitches Love Me, and it's a better record. Mike, all things being equal, if both records are known, even if Lollipop is bigger in this format, you pick the better song. It's why Ross played Santorini, Greece, Mike.
I agree with what you're saying, but Lollipop is like his biggest record.
Like, Ross played Santorini, Greece for a reason, because I know this ain't no single, but everybody know what time it is when I drop this record. Now, don't we?
But not a lot of people have a record as big as Lollipop. Like, Lollipop numerically is like hot in here in the club level.
Right. But here's the problem with that. It's that level numbers-wise, but in terms of feel and vibe and nostalgia and classic nature, never going to be that.
I agree with that.
Right. So you just need to stop looking at the numbers and look at the quality of the records, because he has the type of catalog where he has enough hit records that are quality that he need to be choosing those. Fuck that got money shit.
I think we're saying the same things. What I'm saying is, those are his disadvantages. It's a disadvantage to have big records like that aren't up to the quality of some of your lesser known records, because you're going to be pressured into playing the bigger records.
Here's what I'm trying to tell you is that all things being equal, your following knows what you know. They're going to laud you more for playing the better record.
I agree.
The people know, so why would you try to trick the people in this versus format? Don't play no damn Lollipop or Got Money when you got Rich as Fuck and My Bitches Love Me. They're better records.
Of course they're better records, but
so
we all know...
all things being equal in this, Mike, because you want to win. So you don't want to risk, like Mike, you don't want to risk the opinion of numbers from a day that it's come and gone. You pick the quality record.
I understand what you're saying.
We've seen it, Mike. We've seen it happen. Mike, did you watch the Locks versus Dipset versus Mike? Remember when I told you Mighty D Block and you were like, that ain't gonna play well? I'm like, I said they love that shit up in New York. And what the fuck happened when they play? This is D Block, Mighty D, and the motherfucker started going bananas, Mike. So stop telling me that hit single stuff. Mike, when Ride or Die Bitch came on, were they acting that way? because they know it's not Mighty D Block, Mike. You can't fool your fans.
It's definitely not numerically Lollipop either. This is the thing, and I guess
You can't trick your fans in this format, Mike. That's why Ross plays Santorini Grease.
This is what I'm saying. Though. Let's not sit here and act like. Let's
James
not
Brown.
sit here and act like Verzuz isn't super mainstream. And the whole point of Verzuz is to get streams, right? And to get views. If you got one of the biggest songs that was made in that era, they're gonna make sure you play that record. That's all I'm saying. I mean, because if Wayne was doing this at a one-off somewhere else, it wasn't about getting ratings. I feel you,
Mike,
but
you've gone too far because now you're insinuating that the powers that be are helping the artist create the set playlist.
When you have a record that big, what do they not do after each record? Cool. Hold on. Let me finish. Can I finish my thought real quick?
No, because you're talking.
You're not gonna let me finish my thought.
Said, Mike, you just tried to kick some bullshit to the people.
No, I'm not kicking no bullshit. That's the real shit.
You just tried to kick that Illuminati, the powers that be, gonna make Wayne pick certain records.
Cool.
Like, come on, Mike. That shit ain't happened with Bone. It ain't happened with Snoop. It ain't happened with X. Why the fuck?
So they didn't play their biggest records. Cool. They didn't play their biggest records.
Mike.
They didn't play their biggest records.
Are his best records. That's not the case with Wayne.
Exactly. So you can't sit here and say that I'm kicking some Illuminati stuff. Look, the bottom line is
you are.
I'm not. And let me explain. Can I explain it? What I'm saying, after each Verzuz, what do? They go show how each of these streams of these records has went up a certain percentage. So they actually count the streams and all of that after the Verzuz. Part of Verzuz is to inflate people's streams after they do the matchups. They're not going to leave out the biggest records from each artist. Now, if you show me a Verzuz that they did where an artist left off one of their 3 biggest songs, then I'll be with you. But they're not going to leave off a record that's this big. They're just not. They're not, no matter who it is. But I feel you. From a quality standpoint, yes, I've never been a big fan of the record, but they're going to go with the hits. That's why Timbaland and Swiss emphasize hits. That's why when 2 Chainz went up there, he played the hits, not the grassroots stuff.
But Mike, okay, so this is what I'm saying. Lil Millie, Millie, Got Money, Lollipop, and Mrs. Officer are all top 20 songs that certified platinum certifications.
Right.
Okay? Mike, if they're all top 20 hits and they're all platinum, you don't have to pick all 4. You can pick 2. Stop talking crazy.
You do have to pick all 4.
No, Mike,
they're all hits.
This is what you keep saying. You keep saying Wayne's catalog is expansive, and what I'm telling you is because of that, he actually has the privilege of still being able to play records that are big fucking hits, that are better records than some of the hits who just happen to sell more. Like, as far as he can take something that done sold 5 or 6 million to diamond, like those records that are already diamond. Stop acting like he don't have records like that. You talking like all of Wayne's hits are like on the same level. Like, they're not. Some of the records are right underneath them. Listen to this.
So they're Wayne fans that don't like. I mean, so you're telling me
I'm
that
saying, Mike, if
everybody doesn't like Lollipop. There's some Wayne fans that want to hear Lollipop.
No. All I'm saying, Mike, is if you're a hip hop fan and you're a fan of this guy and you're going to support him in the Verzuz and he's got 20 songs and he's up against 50, do you think playing Lollipop and fucking Got Money is the way to beat 50 when you know you have better shit in the chamber? Then you don't play that shit because it's Verzuz. It's not greatest hits. It's Verzuz. And I'm trying to tell you, for whoever they're going to stand next to Wayne, for who Wayne is, playing Lollipop, Got Money, that's an L. Why would you take an L when you got other shit that's better that can get you a W? That don't make sense.
Show me the set list of people that did Verzuz.
Mike, you talking about you want him to do it to up some strings for something that already sold big once anyway.
I'm not telling you what I want him to do. I'm telling you what he would do. And that's like acting like there aren't fans out there who are fans of Wayne that are going to be tuning in because he's a crossover success. He's not just a regular rapper. So you're telling me that there's a whole bunch of fans tuning in for Wayne that want to hear Lollipop, they're not going to play it for him?
No, but Mike, what I'm trying to tell you is that those people who love Lollipop, they love other records of him that's not as big and has fans They would rather him win than just play the bigger record. That's if Wayne's their guy, Mike, and he plays Lollipop against 50, even if they like Lollipop, Mike, they would be like, why would you do that against 50? He's going to crush you with one of his bigger records in the same vein.
Well, you know what would happen in that?
Okay, can I finish talking?
He would play Magic, not Magic Stick, but Candy Shop, which is whack
He has
too.
Candy Shop. He has Magic Stick. He's got 21 questions. Like, he could go any way. He blast him either way. And so what I'm saying is that I think what you're forgetting in the Verzuz format is, I don't know, the Verzuz part of it. So think about who Wayne is and think about who they would pitch him against and tell me that those type of records about to fly. Because nobody in his stratosphere, sans Eminem, he's about to win with those records. And his fans know that too. So why don't you play a record that's like already multi-platinum too, like, I don't know, Rich as Fuck or My Bitches Love Me, that may not be diamond like Lollipop, but might just be like 3-4 million, but is actually the better song and actually competes with Disco Inferno and actually competes with some of the shit 50 got. You feel what I'm saying? This is still about competition, Mike. You're too much looking at it on the business side, and you're forgetting that they did set up this format to compete. Snoop still played fucking Murder Was the Case, Mike. You think Murder Was the Case is diamond? Or you think it's some of the illest shit he did?
Yeah, I mean,
and we all know it. Mike, ain't no way Snoop walking out of no Verzuz with 20 songs and we hear Murder Was the Case. Be like, this nigga didn't play Murder Was the Case. We go nuts, Mike. We know it's one of his 20 best songs.
Well, he played it up against Slippin' too, and they do that a lot on Verzuz where they kind of, you know, let's just say hypothetically
Mike.
50's in there, and 50's gonna play like Candy Shop. And then, you know, Wayne would play.
It could have been slipping. It could have been running. It could have been jumping. It could have been falling.
Again, they do that a lot, Coop. They have you act like this isn't choreographed. It's clearly when you watch Verzuz that a lot of these songs are choreographed. The best songs in the artist catalog, not the biggest hits. That's why Murder Was the Case got played. I don't want to be the guy to tell people Santa Claus isn't real.
Some big hit record. It's not.
Again, I think Lollipop's a better record than Candy Shop, in my personal opinion. I don't like either one of them.
I mean, first of all, Lollipop is better than Candy Shop, but that's just because Candy Shop is whack, Mike.
Yeah, and you don't think 50 would go out there and play Candy Shop? Because he would.
If he wants to beat somebody legitimate.
So you think he's gonna go out there and play Nobody Likes Me over Candy Shop?
This is what I'm saying. You haven't been paying attention to the verses and the stuff that's been driving people crazy, Mike. Did you not?
You're talking about one Verzuz.
No. But did you not see it, Mike? And I'm not talking about one Verzuz, Mike.
The Locks ain't got hits like that, so they had to go for the streets.
They didn't, Mike. They beat Dipset because they played their best records, not because they're from the streets, Mike. They played their best records.
Yeah, the Locks did that, and so did Jadakiss. They went for their best records, their strengths. And you're right. But they also don't have that pool of super big hit records to pull from. It's not like they sat there and they had a hit record that they left on the shelf. Did they not play Benjamins?
Mike, did 3-6 play their biggest records? Like all of them?
I don't even remember what 3-6 played. I thought they did.
They didn't play all of their biggest stuff.
I thought they did. We got to pull up that track list.
3-6 played their best stuff. 8-Ball and MJG played their best stuff. People who be winning play their best stuff, Mike.
But 8-Ball, you talking about guys that don't have a hit like that's a mega hit to leave off. That's like asking somebody to not play This Is How We Do It or something. Like, that's one of the biggest records of the era.
Mike, I went to 3 Prince shows. I heard When Doves Cry Once. What the fuck we talking about?
We're talking about Lollipop. We're not talking about Prince. It's one of the biggest records of its era.
What I'm saying is just because you make an all-time great song don't mean it always get performed, Mike. It don't work that way. You do what works.
So Wayne has a Prince-like catalog.
Like, you too stuck on the notoriety of the song, and you're not stuck on winning, my G.
I feel what you're saying.
Winning, not notoriety. Fuck Lollipop.
We're talking about two different things, Coop. If you and I were doing the Verzuz,
you play Lollipop against T.I. or 50, that's an L. That's what people need to be concerned with.
If you and I,
people coming to Wayne like, well, Wayne, you got to play Lollipop. It's like, oh, we can play Lollipop after the Verzuz is done because like I'm trying to beat Tip. You understand?
If you and I were doing the Verzuz,
I'm trying to win, so we're not playing that. And next time you interfere with my set list, we can just not do this, nigga.
But what did they say? They made these rules that the Verzuz is about the hits, right? And Verzuz is Timbaland and Swiss's thing, right? They said
Mike,
Versus is about the hits.
You've literally been pulling up here and pointing out how it's not their thing. So don't make it
But
their
that's
thing now.
what it is. Like that's what we're
No, no, no,
supposed to
no, it's
believe
not,
it
Mike.
is.
Not according to you, Mike. According to you, it's not their thing. That's been your whole
They're the
premise.
face of it.
There we go. So that means it's hold on. So let's be clear. Being the face of it doesn't mean it's your thing, though, is it? Michael
But
Jordan
being the face of it also means what?
Do LeBron James own the NBA, Mike? Because he's the
LeBron
face of
James
the
never
league.
said he owned the NBA. But let's just say hypothetically, what I'm saying is correct. Whatever. They appear to be the owners of Versus, right? And even if they're not, and they're the face of it, let me finish. Can I finish? Can I finish?
You got a lot of nerve.
Can I finish? And even if they're not, the messages that they spew out are coming from the people who do actually own it. And the message that they spewed out is this is about the hits, right? So what is a versus that's about the hits without the biggest hit of its era? I'm just saying it would be played. Now again, I'm with you. If I was Wayne, I wouldn't play it. But if Wayne did a versus, I put anything on the fact that we're gonna hear Lollipop. They're not gonna not play that record.
I just believe in playing to win. I don't know what y'all do.
I understand what you believe in, but I'm just talking about reality.
No. It ain't a belief, Mike. It's the way the world works. You don't play to lose. You play to win.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Coop, Swiss was talking literal height size differences. That's Swiss Wildin'. LP with the super chat says, Wayne's tapes are better because he didn't have to pick the beats for his own album or have a concept. When it's time to just make his own, the beats are mid. He's better without a concept too. Mo Better with the super chat says, Wayne's best records are his street records. CJ Kidd with the super chat says 50 has POTD, Guess Who's Back, Get Rich or Die Trying, Massacre, which is his street classics. Add in his singles and his mixtape joints and TV intros, and it's a tall order. Not the TV
how about
intros.
this, Mike? Based on what you're saying, Nas would lose badly to a lot of people based on what you're saying.
Listen, what I'm saying, you're taking what I'm saying wrong.
I'm taking what you're saying for how you said it, Mike.
You're not letting me finish what I'm saying.
You said, why would you pull up and not play the biggest records in the artist catalog? Again, so we playing I
think you're
and Hey Nas and Hate Me Now.
Again. You're not understanding what I'm saying because you're not listening. You're not listening to me. You want to listen to me real quick?
After church,
you're not listening to me. That's why you don't understand what I'm saying. You're not listening to me. What I'm saying is that's not what's gonna get you a win. It's just what's gonna happen. And Nas doesn't have a Lollipop song that was super big that doesn't match his catalog. Yeah, his biggest record would be If I Ruled the World, and yes, he would play that. Hate Me Now? Yes, he would play that. It's his biggest records. Chris Hogan with the super chat says, Wayne can do a feature run like the Locks. Yeah, he could, and he should to win. 36 Chambers with the super chat
I'm
says,
more interested in the feature run.
He says, y'all, I was a teenager when Lollipop and the Millie came out. Y'all underestimate how hard those songs would hit in a versus because it's mainstream. Exactly. And if you were around then, them traps was it. Yeah, it's not going to not play that record.
No. I didn't say don't play a Millie. You play a Millie.
No, he's going to play Lollipop too.
Okay.
CJ Kidd.
Hey, Mike, how about this? Here's what I'm going to submit to you. Here's my caveat. He must not like winning the way I do.
CJ Kidd with the super chat.
Control of what? I'm not losing to nobody because here's the thing. Rap is competitive battle. So if these guys are agreeing to certain songs being put on and played a certain way for certain people to win, then they all some fucking suckers to me. I don't play like that in any game in life. Kiss my entire ass.
It's entertainment.
Through.
What Jay say, it's only entertainment. CJ Kidd with the super chat says,
it's
my
only
guy.
Entertainment to me if I beat your ass, Mike. Forget all that.
CJ.
Other than that, it's me. It's other than that, it's like, well, what did I waste my time for to lose? It's like, no. And when the fuck has rap ever been built that way? Stop letting this soft shit occur.
They put on a show. It's versus, man.
Show. That's cool. I want to put on a show where I beat the other person.
How many times his verses really went out there and said who won? You know what they say every time? Hip hop won.
They've actually done a tally, Mike. They've done a tally almost every time. What do you
Versus,
mean?
they never pick a winner. They be like, oh, hip hop won. So yeah, it ain't about winning and losing with that. They just putting on a show, getting streams up. Boom. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, my guy said Heat is getting the Millie out of here. I love Heat. It's my personal favorite song on Get Rich or Die Trying.
He's in all types of trouble against 50, Mike.
Hell yeah. I don't think he would beat 50 in my opinion.
What you mean, think?
Leroy Green with the super chat says, Mike, they could also market the Verzuz as a battle of B-sides. And if there's any objections, they could just refuse to do the show. They already rich. I mean, they're not doing this for their.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. Like no, like the guys that are doing this, it's like I think they're doing this like there might be some guys doing it to boost their notoriety and remind people of themselves because their hits weren't like that. Wayne ain't one of those guys. That's what I'm telling you. For who Wayne is, Mike, if Wayne's stepping outside against somebody, he needs to be playing to win. That ain't no small thing.
Well, I think this is the thing too. This is exactly why we haven't gotten the biggest stars in hip hop to do it yet. So. I think we're thinking
some legacy and bravado on the line, Mike. So asking that man to play Lollipop is absurd, like I said.
Well, like I said, we haven't actually had to see somebody as big as Wayne in that matchup to even see what they would and wouldn't play either. You know what I mean? So
to watch him lose.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Mike, your submission would be T.I. beats Jadakiss in the Verzuz based on what we saw Jadakiss do twice. Yes, T.I. would beat Jadakiss.
Right. But, Mike, what I'm telling you is that live, I don't know about that, Mike.
T.I.'s a pretty good performer, too.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that, and let's kind of stay with the Jadakiss and the Locks thing, because it appears to be the one that you remember the most, too, Mike. Well,
yeah, cool.
The reason that it struck a nerve, Mike, is because they kind of proved something that night. They kind of prove you kind of dance with what brought you to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so really what we heard from the Locks were all the best versions of them. They didn't have no drop-off moment, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
They literally hit you with their best stuff from all angles because they had a diverse enough catalog that even some of us had forgot about.
No, I agree. They did a great job.
Wayne has that same type of luxury that the Locks have, Mike, where his shit is so diversified and so great and can come at from so many angles that nobody's going to miss Lollipop the way that you're talking about is what I'm trying to express to you.
I
it's
think
not
the
going to
Locks...
be, you keep trying to make a big deal out of it. And what I'm trying to tell you is that Wayne's shit is very much like the Lock shit in the sense that it's like, Mike, when it happens live and this other stuff starts playing and this is stuff people really love, and then you realize how big some of these other records were that were quality too, Lollipop not going and Got Money not going to matter the way that you're thinking in your mind, Mike. You're just thinking about what it was at its peak. It may strike some nostalgia, but he got other records that's going to make people feel like it's like, oh, no, I think he got 50 with that. And Mike, and that was my shit. Like, he has records like that where it's like, oh, no, it's a hit, and that's my shit. Play that shit. That's what the Locks did. That's what they showed us. They showed us that formula actually does win over the big hit, Mike.
I think we might be underestimating Lollipop, though. You don't think that the crowd's going to ring off when that beat drops and then he, spits those first couple bars that everybody knows the words to?
Mike, I think you're talking about a Millie, not Lollipop. That's what I'm saying. And I'm with you on a Millie. But Lollipop ain't that. A Millie's that. When you're saying that, you're talking about a Millie, Mike. You're not talking about Lollipop.
I think both of them did that. I think we might be underestimating Lollipop.
Mike, put a Millie versus Lollipop in the chat.
I'm not saying that. I clearly think a Millie's the superior record. I put a Millie as a top 50 hip hop song all time.
Put it up, Mike. You know what's going to happen if you put a Millie versus
You're
Lollipop.
creating an argument that I didn't even make. I clearly say that a Millie is the superior record. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
Right. Well, you haven't been doing that the last few weeks anyway, so
no, you're not letting me talk. You just
great.
Misconstruing what I'm saying and not letting me explain.
Mike, you've been trying to explain it for like 15, 20 minutes, and I keep trying to explain
to you that
your logic is flawed about it. You just don't want to accept the fact that your logic is flawed about it. When it comes to Wayne, you're looking at him like he's the typical rap artist. He's not. He has some of everything. Therefore, his biggest stuff doesn't have to get played. It doesn't. The biggest selling stuff doesn't have to get played for him to be stellar and to win. He has enough of a diversified catalog to do that. You're actually not putting enough respect on his name and just talking about these big selling singles.
these two songs, and A Milli and Lollipop, are the reason, or big reasons, why he is as big as he is. And so
Mike,
I think we might be slightly underestimating the impact of a record like Lollipop. Now, we're talking about the T Pain record. Yeah, you might not play that. You know what I mean? But Lollipop, I mean, I would expect that one to get played. It's the
Mike.
one that
Okay,
pushed the Carter 3 to that million in a
here's the
week.
reality. But this is what I keep trying to express to you, and you keep missing this part. A Milli and Lollipop are both top 20 records when they got released. They're both diamond certified. Mike, if you will put in the chat A Milli versus Lollipop, I'm going to show you why Lollipop shouldn't get played. Because if you have something like A Milli that is performed comparable to Lollipop, and you're actually trying to win, why the fuck would you play Lollipop? You play A Milli and you keep it pushing. Because you got other stuff to go to help you win. You don't need Lollipop the way other people need Lollipop. He don't need it, Mike. You talking about Wayne like he need it. That's why I'm telling you you're not respecting the catalog.
Well,
He don't need no damn Lollipop. Lollipop, he has such a diverse catalog that Lollipop may actually hurt him. What part of that do you not understand?
If you're listening to me, I agree with you on that. And I told you.
But you still like play the record though.
Can I
The powers
finish?
that be said play the record.
Can I
And what I'm
finish?
trying to tell
Like
you
I
is
said,
fucking-
if you and I were doing the verses and I had Wayne, I would not play Lollipop. But what I'm saying is verses is so mainstream, and the fact that whatever verses they're doing, they're trying to get views and all of that. They calculate these things. They also calculate streams of the records. They would play Lollipop because of the arena it's in, and they're trying to get views. They're trying to get ratings, just like any other sporting event. But anyway, what I was gonna say too, I don't think it's fair. Hold on, let me finish this point too before I forget. I would never say that Lollipop's better than A Milli. I was the one that was vouching for A Milli being the top 50 hip hop song all time when people were saying I'm crazy on that. Now, as far as putting a poll out there, it would be more fair to put Lollipop and Love Me in those records that you were talking about putting on other than Lollipop. The Bitches Love Me or whatever other record you were talking about. Now, if we want to do a poll on those two, yeah, I think that would be a fair poll to do. Like which one would be played over the other and see what people think about that. But doing a Lollipop and A Milli poll, I never said that Lollipop was even on A Milli's level. So.
You did. You just spent this whole time saying that they were on the same level.
I never said that. I said it was the biggest seller. But again, I vouch for A Milli as a top 50 hip hop song of all time. I never even mentioned Lollipop, so I wouldn't even. How could I even think that? You know what I mean?
Because you've literally been saying that they should play Lollipop. This is what I want to comment on, Mike. Mike, you keep bringing up this whole thing about garnering ratings. This is what I keep trying to express to you. Mike, without the songs being known, Lil Wayne showing up is the ratings. Don't sit up there and make it seem like Lollipop is about to bring some extra ratings. It's Lil Wayne. This is what I mean about like some of the stuff you're saying. I know you're not trying to say it disrespectfully, and I don't think that you're being disrespectful per se, but it's almost like you don't know who you're talking about when you're saying it. You know, you're framing some of this almost like it's like, oh no, he has to play Lollipop. I'm like, that's Lil Wayne. He don't need to play no fucking Lollipop. And Mike, I want you to go back and look at this. You have said that during this conversation that yes, he would have to play Lollipop, and you've said it multiple times.
What I said is he would play Lollipop. Now, obviously, he has the catalog where he wouldn't have to play Lollipop, but we know how mainstream Verzuz is. There's not going to be a 20-song set on a stage like that where a record that big is not being played. I could be wrong. I ain't saying that he has to play it. That's his saving grace. I'm saying based on the format he's on and the way they calculate streams and ratings and all this stuff, and they're trying to shoot things out of the wide, they were calculating their ratings on Instagram Live. So yes, they're going to play the biggest records.
Do you know how many other songs he has that they can calculate, though?
They're not going to leave out the biggest records.
Let me submit something to you. Let's do some A&R and some management right quick. If I'm Lil Wayne's manager, and let's say you got something like Love Me, like let's say, Mike, that we know that A Milli and Lollipop are diamond. but Rich as Fuck and Love Me. Let's say one is at 4, one is at 7. So let's say the powers that be are involved with the set list, Mike. My negotiation as his managers is like, well, we already have 2 diamond singles over here. So it's like, we don't, it's like, it's like we'll take the double diamond plaque, but it's like, but we maybe like another diamond song. So how about our compromise is that instead of playing both of these diamond records, y'all help us by upping one of these is getting closer to diamond and letting us play one of these records and sub one of these records that's already diamond. Because as his business manager, I would tell you that adding another diamond plaque to the table is what benefits Wayne as opposed to adding on to something that's already diamond. Do you see what I'm saying business-wise, why I would still do that too? That's why I'm telling you, Mike, he has other hits that he could up the streams on and push to diamond, as opposed to playing the stuff that's already diamond is just going to get up further. No, it's already diamond. He can pick one and not pick both. What's wrong with that? If you got 2 diamond songs, you have to play both of them and say, we trying to up the streams. I, as his business manager, would be trying to up some stuff and getting him some new diamond plaques.
I think that's an interesting argument.
But again, interesting argument, Mike. It's business and enterprising.
I mean, it is, but also in business and enterprising, people go with what works. And why take that risk when you already got a song that was able to get diamond on its own volition, which could get 2 times diamond. It could be double diamond at this point.
But hold on. Listen to what you just said. If it got diamond on its own volition, all the more reason as a business manager to push the other stuff to get to diamond.
That wasn't able to do it.
As in Lollipop and a Millie don't need no help, Mike. Why would you? This Verzuz format doesn't benefit Wayne in that format. Those songs are already there. It's not helping Wayne. That's what I mean. You don't know who you're talking about. It's like, no, this can help some of his other stuff to go diamond, but it ain't helping a Millie or Lollipop like that because that already did what it did at its own volition. That don't benefit Wayne. It benefits Wayne more to play Rich or to play Love Me. It just does.
You know what I think
musically and business.
You know what I think that we're making we're making the assumption that Wayne doesn't like Lollipop.
I didn't say he don't like Lollipop.
We're making the assumption that his, him or his people don't like Lollipop. What if he thinks Lollipop is a win?
Singles. I'm saying the song don't slap like that.
What if he thinks
in relationship? If we're going through his top-notch stuff in terms of what's sold, it's probably his weakest top-selling song.
What if he thinks it's a banger? Is that beyond comprehension?
Mike, I mean, he can think that all he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you don't want to put a Millie versus Lollipop in the chat, though, because we all really know.
Well, I mean, like I said, I've made it known even before I started this. I'm not a big fan of
a Millie in the chat for a reason, Mike.
Because, again, I'm the person that put a Millie as a top 50 hip-hop song of all time. So, obviously, I hold a Millie higher than everything in this
everybody
catalog.
Knows Lollipop ain't like that, Mike. Lollipop's a good record. It's not a Millie. That's my whole point. And so if both songs sold comparably, it's like, well, give me the song that's like that. You can kind of keep the other song in the chamber for another day. It's already diamond.
Let me get to the super chats real quick. Jay
Short
says,
new diamond plaque. I like new shit, Mike. It's like I don't like old diamond plaque. I like new diamond plaques. I don't know how you run.
Jay Short with the super
chat
says,
followers, Mike, or you want old followers? Because our old followers are already here. It's like I'm looking for new niggas.
Well, that's not how it works. It's not like you can't sell more records on the actual Lollipop record. If it's diamond, it could be 15 million.
But you just said it did it at its own volition, so it don't need the Verzuz format to boost it. These other records might need the boost, though.
But those other records might not have the nostalgic value that the one that did 10 million does. Jay Short with the super chat says, Wayne don't have a B-side / street record like that. If he did, his albums would be better. He don't have a Dead Presidents or a Silent Murder. Stick to the hits.
What is Best Rapper Alive?
Yeah, I feel like that too. Jay Short also with the super chat says, if folks really think 50 is going to pull up at a Verzuz playing How to Rob, Who I Rep, with y'all crazy, right? DJ Bruce Almighty.
I'm not asking Wayne to play Who I Rep, Mike. Mike, How to Rob and Who I Rep is not Rich as Fuck and My Bitches Love Me. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? Like, that ain't the same thing. I'm talking about hit records that he has that are already big. You talking about 50 street records. That's not the same conversation we're having. And we need to have another conversation.
DJ Bruce Almighty with the super chat says, Coop, I feel you, but Lollipop is Wayne's first #1 song. Why would he not feel like it's a W? 50 is very in tune with numbers. He's numbers. Candy Shop too. Yeah. Let's see. We got some more super chats we want to get to. Bruce Almighty also says, I meant to say 50's definitely playing Candy Shop. I agree with that too. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, they're killing you in the chat, Mike, saying T.I. would beat Jada. He would. That wasn't just me that said that. Coop said that too. Jay Short with the super chat says, Locke struck a nerve. Struck a nerve is because Dipset's catalog isn't like that. I agree with Jay Short. They got exposed for the lesser New York version of No Limit they are. The Locks got barbecue chicken. And I underestimated the Locks. I underestimated Jada. But yes, their catalog is actually better than Dipset's. And I think I was very short-sighted in my prediction. And
no, when was your prediction? It was our prediction. We picked the same thing. We were both wrong.
Yeah.
I've never been more wrong.
Never been more wrong. LP with the super chat says, Lollipop gets played on a live Verzuz, not a COVID Verzuz. Okay, I'm with that. I agree with that. I think if Wayne was sitting at home by himself, yeah, he probably wouldn't play it. But with the stage bright and stuff, yeah.
I mean, I can literally think maybe of about 40. How about this? I could run through maybe 2 verses before I would get to Lollipop on his quality level. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you. I think we're saying the same things. I think that you're looking at it from a, you know what I'm saying, like if this was some real live shit out in the park. I'm looking at this on some Hollywood shit, which it is. You know what I'm saying? They equate the numbers after the fact. They calculate all this stuff, and it's hard for me to think that the biggest record of the era wouldn't be played. You know what I mean? But I agree with you. I wouldn't play it. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Jay Short, 50 played Problem Child in concert before. Don't sleep on 50's selection. I would be more inclined to feel like 50 would go straight B-sides before Wayne would.
See, but that's what I'm saying, Mike. You're acting like that can't be done or hasn't been done. You haven't been watching these verses. Been a ton of B-sides played. And Wayne's one of the few guys, listen to what I'm saying.
He got a lot.
He literally has legitimately more than 20 hit charting records he could play, Mike.
You're right.
And so all I'm saying, one of the few guys walking around with more than 20 chart-topping hits could actually cherry pick the best quality ones. He's in a rare, fortunate position. That's why I wouldn't pick Lollipop. It's not like Lollipop sucks. It's like, have y'all been paying attention to how many hit records he's made and what they sound like quality-wise? And I know for a fact, Mike, we can run through 20 quality hit records of his before we hit Lollipop. And so when y'all talking about missing it, it wouldn't be missed like that if he played those other 20 hit records. No, it would not.
I think I don't trust.
I'm telling you,
like, I don't trust Wayne.
I've been to rap shows and watched this shit happen before, Mike.
I don't think I trust Wayne's quality control to the level that you may. I think that's what it is.
I didn't say I trusted it. I'm talking hypothetically. I don't trust that shit at all.
Yeah, because even T.I., right? I hate Whatever You Like. It's not one of his best records, but in a Verzuz, he would do it.
How about this? This is what I'm saying. Is like, oh, we doing the Whatever You Like versus Lollipop battle? It's like, that's what you niggas doing out here?
Lollipop wins that.
Lollipop does win. Actually, no, Mike. I'm going to actually argue with you and tell you Whatever You Like wins that.
Hey, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you Whatever You Like is better than Lollipop.
I don't like either one of them. Yeah, I don't like either one of them. They were produced by the same person, too.
They do, and I understand how this game gets played. But this is what I'm saying. Is it's like, oh, if y'all having that type of fight, I'm out. And so are a lot of your fans.
James Smith with the super chat says, does his verse from We Taking Over? I don't think he plays that, but I love that, though.
The verse is dope on We Taking Over. I forgot about it.
I like, you know what? Unpopular opinion. I like T.I.'s verse the best, man. Like, when T.I.'s riding the beat like that and he sets off songs, man, he's in a zone. T.I. has a rare zone, man. When he gets in that... Did you listen to
the boy's new single, Mike? We need to move on.
Yeah. We need to move on. 36 Chambers with the $20 super chat showing love says, the Verzuz format isn't meant to elevate songs that didn't do well in their respective time. The format exists to highlight the greatest hits or the biggest songs of an artist's career. What are we even saying? It's mainstream. I agree. That's kind of what they've exhibited.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this again. You do understand he has other big multi-platinum singles that are not diamond, and this could be an opportunity to push those to that point. Did I not express that part clearly? As in, I'm not talking, at no point did I say play a bunch of your street records, Lil Wayne. I've been saying the entirety of this time, he has other viable hits that have done extremely well as well, although they are not diamond. And as his business manager, I would be trying to push those to platinum, those platinum plaques, to diamond status as he enters his 40s.
Man,
I
Max,
don't know what part of that is so complicated about the business side of this either. And he is somebody with enough cachet and enough hits to actually submit that to them and it not be a problem. As in, like, his catalog of hits literally looks like it's like, yeah, but I don't want to play Lollipop this time because we're trying to get this to diamond. And he can say that and it can be okay. Why are we acting like that's not okay? Why are we acting like all this work he done put in doesn't come with that type of cachet? It typically does. So stop making it seem like the shit that I'm saying is crazy. This is how business works. It's like, no. His business management team should want new diamond plaques. Lollipop and Amelia are already diamond. There's probably some shit. He's done so much stuff, Mike. He has stuff that's bubbling that this stream could push some stuff over the top.
so what you're saying is you would rather for
I'm saying I'm thinking about Wayne. Y'all are thinking about Verzuz.
no. I mean, because all of this is going to benefit him anyway. But what I was going to say is, so you would rather there be a record that is, let's just say, 2 times platinum become 5 times platinum as opposed to the record that is 10 times platinum becoming 20 times platinum.
Because the chances of that record that's already diamond continue to grow is higher than that other record that's stalled that needs the boost. If you already got some multi-platinum stuff that needs a boost, you know you can boost it and it might eventually carry. So you might wake up. Quick plug talk, Mike. Late last year, I got word 50 got diamond plaques coming in. I was like, oh, word, 50 got diamond plaques coming in? I was like, get rich or die trying. It's already platinum, plug. She like, nah, Coop. The single's starting to go diamond. I said, oh, shit. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm talking about multiple diamonds, not the stuff that you already got that's diamond. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I can't be any more clear about it. And he's that type of artist like 50 that it's like, no, you can have diamond albums, you can have diamond singles and more of it, and it can keep coming in 15, 20 years after the album's released. He can be setting himself up for a new windfall.
Well, I mean, does it have to be one or the other, or could it not be both? Could it not be that those records you're talking about get played and Lollipop get played as well? So
No,
all of those get boosted.
And you're more than and that is more than plausible. But I've been very clear on my sentiment about how I feel about winning too. I came to whoop a nigga's ass. Fuck that friendly shit or playing on for putting on for your company. I put on for your company after we make sure my set list is tight and I feel like I'm gonna win. Then we can have that conversation. I came to whoop somebody else's ass. This is rap.
Maybe that's he thinks it's a win, though.
I came to whoop your ass first. Listen to me. If I'm Wayne, I'm like, well, I have #1 hits. I have diamond plaques. I came to whoop this nigga ass.
Well, let me ask you this.
After I create a set list from all these hits that whoop this nigga ass, we can have a conversation. First, I came to whoop his ass.
Let me ask you this before we move on.
You think Wayne want to lose to 50?
Let me ask you this before we move on. No, I don't think anybody wants to lose. But do you think, and let me ask you this, do you think 50 is going to play Candy Shop?
Only if Wayne plays Lollipop.
So you think if Wayne doesn't play Lollipop, 50 never plays Candy Shop?
Why would he do that?
It's a very big record.
It's already massive. Like Candy Shop already like 8 million like records. That shit probably about to go diamond on its own volition at some point in the next few years. The same way them singles from Get Rich or Die Trying are starting to go diamond.
So you don't think that they feel like any of those songs is a win for them, knowing the success that those songs have had?
Listen. When you've had the success that they had, are you not playing to win? Or are you just here to put on a good show?
Again, that's my question.
Now, hold on. Now, some people are here to put on a good show. I'll give you an example. Let's go to the other side of the Locks Dipset battle. Oh, I feel like Cam was more concerned, and the Locks even spoke to it. They're like, yo, Cam put a lot of the business together behind the scenes for the Verzuz to make sure everybody's money was tight. So if you're talking about the money situation of it being tight and everybody rocking under that format, it's like, yeah, but and especially on 50 side, Mike, I mean, them type of questions and shit, you feel what I'm saying? It's like, no. If they showing up to win, Mike. I don't know how you feel. Part of why some of these verses haven't happened, Mike, is because people don't want to lose.
Again, I think that you're under the assumption that they feel like those records are a loss for them. Like maybe they feel like based on the fact that they've toured the world, they've seen the reaction from people when these big records get played. How would they feel that this is an L for them? Why wouldn't they play a record that they've seen people get
Can we
up
meet in the middle?
night after night to hear, you know?
Can we meet in the middle somewhere? Let me submit something to you. Maybe part of the reason why some of these battles haven't happened is because of the same format that you keep trying to squeeze everything into. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe the format that you're talking about actually doesn't work for the guys at the top of the top because they know what time it is and it comes to their catalog in relation to this guy's catalog and this, that, and the other. And so this game that they design isn't a game of equity. But in 50 and Wayne's case, it is the type of game where both of them can be like, I don't need to play that. I want to win. And they both have the cachet, the equity, and the money to actually submit that and make something different happen. I'm challenging the notion. You're going with status quo, and so are people in the chat. I ain't never been no status quo guy. Fuck a status quo. I'm going to tell you something, Mike, and I've always believed this my whole life. If you believe everything everybody else believes, and if you're doing everything else everybody else is doing, you are doing something wrong. Y'all are talking about doing it the way everybody else want to do it, but we keep talking about how wrong it is. You and me specifically. That's why I'm submitting it to you the way that I am. It's like, no, I'm not going with that status quo. That status quo ain't been working. That's why we pulled up and clowned for about a year and a half about it.
But Verzuz is the status quo, and it would be done on there. Now, do I agree with? I mean, they're not going to change what they.
You can change status quo, Mike. That's what I'm trying to say.
It was built. A lot of their foundation is built on that.
Mike, have you not watched us change status quo with the way some of these media publications are handling our rap artists, including Nas?
That was the purpose.
There are publications that are literally carrying the greatest MC of all time differently based on what According to Hip Hop been doing.
Yeah, and the people. You know what I'm saying?
Stop making it seem like Wayne and 50 can't do 10 times, 50 times what we can do to the establishment.
Well, if
we can affect the establishment from here. They can pull up and not play Lollipop and Candy Shop and shit be okay. Stop acting that way. That's what I'm saying. It's like you forgetting who we are and how we move out here, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mike, if we have affected culture the way that we have from our stance, 1.4 million followers, you think 50 and Wayne can't pull up? It's like, yeah, I don't want to play Candy Shop and Lollipop. Like, really? Really?
But again,
what we just did?
But cool.
Mike, I just pulled up on people and strong-armed the shit out of them.
You're under the assumption that they don't like these songs.
I literally pulled up on Twitter. I was like, you can drop that in the bag.
Cool. You're talking about two different things.
Come see you.
You're talking about two different things. You're under the assumption that they don't like these records. Now, you would have a basis if there was somewhere where we saw Wayne say, yo, I hate Lollipop. I hate that record. Or 50 say, I hate Candy Shop. We don't know that.
Hold on. First of all, you can never hate a record like Lollipop or Candy Shop that financially does what it does for you as a man.
Andre hates Hey Y'all. He said it. I'm just saying, like, you can't be under the assumption that they dislike these records so much they wouldn't play them.
No, pause. No, let's stop. Do you see where you had to go?
No, I'm just giving an example. Mad Max with the super chat says,
I don't want to have this conversation anymore.
Yeah, we got to move on.
Next topic.
Mad Max with the super chat says, Jada would literally smoke T.I. in the verses. I watched Kiss play Benjamins and Victory. T.I. don't have nothing for Jada. Got nothing for Jada. Got Y. Jada got Y. Even I don't like more current than 2 songs he's been featured in. I don't like songs he's been featured in. Listen, man. T.I. has a much better catalog.
Keep on sheeping. You just keep on sheeping.
Yeah.
You heard that Hit Boy single?
I didn't get a chance to get to it. Did you like it?
It was solid.
Okay.
He's definitely on an instrumentation kick.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, Max with the super chat says, whatever you like versus Kiss. LOL. Get the blunt roll, fellas. A whole lot of backwoods if T.I. plays stuff like that. T.I. will beat JD. I know you don't want to admit it, New York, but it is what it is. He got the better catalog. So what? Jada's going to play Benjamins and stuff when he plays stuff like What You Know? His own songs. Jay Short with the super chat says, who will win in the verses between Swiss and Tim? Is Swiss catalog like that to be throwing so much shade? They did 2 verses, didn't they? I didn't agree with the records that they played either. Especially Timberland. Let's see what else we got with the super chats, and we'll move on. Jay Short says, Jada getting too much credit for beating Jim Jones and Freaky Zeke in the verses. Let Jada go up against Face or Method Man and see what happens. Very good point. Very good point. Okay. Speaking of verses and stuff, before we get off of that, make sure you tune in Station Head this weekend. Actually, tomorrow, 10 o'clock. I'm going to be representing Future. Ron's going to be representing Drake. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You already know what it is. Station Head, pull up. Man, y'all going to make me take on some more challenges. Shit. I'm always taking the underdog, feels like.
Mike, you want to talk about the Juneteenth event, or you want to jump into this drum work mixtape first?
We can talk about the Juneteenth event real quick since we're doing a slight break.
Yeah. Block Party. Hosted by A2HH. My man LT, shout out to him. It's going to be Juneteenth. Well, Juneteenth is actually on Monday, June 19th, but Saturday, June 17th, going to be at 1959 Metropolitan Avenue. Going to have food, beverages available. It's going to be live show and performances. Just a little community feel, a little block party. Nothing complicated.
Love it.
Things wavy over here. Yeah. But just hit me and Mike up. Everybody come through. I kind of want it to be something where we just kind of like letting people kind of just like pull up, see, get involved. It's community shit. It's up on Metropolitan. If you from the A, you know what time it is. And also trying to kind of build some community awareness, bring some awareness back to that community. A lot of areas and pockets down here, like a lot of other Black and Afrocentric areas, get neglected until people decide that they want to come build up nice little condos and re-gentrify and kick out the people who have been spending their entire existence there. So, what we have is a situation also economically where the median income on Metropolitan is about $15,000, but they're trying to build $500,000 condos. So, raising some community awareness and raising some money in the community and siphoning some money through the community economically, a la Black Wall Street model, are some of the things that we're trying to build. So that's what we got going on. And we can get back to the music.
We can definitely get back to the music. It was a lot of stuff that dropped today. It's one more thing that's happening tomorrow. And if you're in Atlanta as well, we out here. This is 2023.
We actually got 2 events tomorrow, and I don't know how we doing any of this.
Yep. Well, National Black Arts Festival. They're going to be hosting the Hip Hop 50th anniversary. They're going to have 10 DJs there. DJ Scratchator is going to be in the building. They're going to be celebrating Big Goon. One of the big things they got going on, too, is, I can't wait to see that. They're celebrating hip-hop, real hip-hop, and they got between our 5 silent disco party pods and our live DJ sets and DJ stages, they got a party planned for every era of hip-hop. So that's going to be at West Side Paper in Atlanta. I think they're starting around 8 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to be in the building. We're going to have our trivia game and all that stuff set up so people can come through, holler at according to hip-hop, and just enjoying the festivities, I
was about to say, now, where's our representation there tomorrow? Who's coming?
Myself will be there. Maurice is going to be there. My man Ron's going to be there. And we're going to be talking shit about this verses that I won't say verses. This song for song matchup that we're doing tomorrow. So they're going to have some live interactive sets. We're going to have some interactive gaming going on. It's going to be just a hip-hop good time.
I may have to slide through.
Yeah.
FDL has an event at their compound. I might have to hit the after party there, but I might slide on you first. I might
Okay.
do the. Yeah, it might be double time. You know
West
what I'm
Side
saying?
Paper tomorrow. Black Music Month. You know what I'm saying? Celebrating 50 years of hip hop. It's gonna be really,
Ain't
really
Ryan
dope.
Cameron hosting that?
Ryan Cameron's gonna be honored as well.
Okay, so he's
So
being
yeah,
honored, not
it's just
hosting.
a
Okay.
whole festival. So they're gonna have like a whole lot of things going on. It's gonna be a good family friendly, event, just like our Juneteenth event that's gonna be the following week. So come on out. Mad Max with the super chat says, "Kid had enough records to do two
Yes.
verses." I'm sorry, Kiss. He meant he got Kid. Kiss had enough to do two verses though, and was the underdog twice. Keep playing with Kiss. I don't feel like Kiss was the underdog against Fab. But I actually
No, they
did
were
pick
no,
Fab.
no, they was picking Fab.
I picked Fab, and I was wrong.
No. Most people was picking Fab too. I'm
Yeah.
about to say the Locks have actually been. Jada's actually been the underdog twice and came out the victor twice.
Listen, I ain't saying it would be a wash with T.I. I just don't think he would beat T.I. I think T.I. has too many records by himself or on his own that are too important to a region to just sway it the other way. You know what I mean? Like, even though maybe people on the East Coast don't know 24s like that, but there's no way that T.I. plays records like 24s and stuff consistently and gets beat by Jada. I'm sorry. I don't think so. Jada would have to straight up outperform him, outbar him, come with the who shot you of freestyles. It's only so much of that you can do against somebody with a catalog like T.I.'s. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, Wayne should absolutely bring out BG and perform Bling Bling. Erykah Badu played You Got Me. So rappers like Wayne and Method Man should include their biggest songs that they're only providing hooks for. Now, if Wayne, man, we want to talk about a hook. Wayne has some really dope hooks. I know the first one people go is Duffel Bag Boy, but my personal favorite Wayne hook is Red Nation, man. That shit is crazy. Blood the fuck up. Everything's a gamble, motherfucker. Tough luck. And we're gonna fuck the world to that bitch bust nuts. I couldn't tell you what's good, but I can tell you what's what. G's up, hoes down. Looking in the mirror, I'm nowhere to be found. Blood, I'm a dog, call me a bloodhound. Throwing blood in the air, leave blood on the ground. That hook is crazy.
I'll still take Duffel Bag Boy, but I feel you.
I ain't mad at that. I agree with
I'll still
that.
take Duffel Bag Boy. That
Now,
is
the
his
Duffel
hook,
Bag
Mike.
Boy hook is crazy too.
I'm gone all day like a clock on the wall.
Jeez. Mad Max with the super chat says, and then a neutral site, what you know more known than Benjamin's Victory or Why? You told me the 90s sing more classics than the 2000s. Let's see. But you gotta have your own records, Mad Max. Jay Short with the super chat says, for everyone whining about A2HH only covering the 90s hip hop, I hope you show up and show out for the Drake versus Future station head. Represent the 2010s. For sure. Yeah, and I got something to say about that whole 90s thing too. We talking the Static Selector album today as well. Mad Max says, catalog only matters if it's aged well. Like, T.I.'s music never aged like that. It sounds like the era it came out in. You know what? I really want T.I. to do a versus now because so many people come with this narrative that this man's music didn't age well. Let's put it on the stage and see. Let's put Nicki on the stage and let's see what she's about to. Let's put Eminem on the stage, see what he's about to. Let's see how people's music aged. Let's go. Jay Short with the super chat says, how were the Locks and Underdog versus Dipset? That was like Eric B. and Rakim versus Migos. Jay Short really can't stand Dipset.
He don't like Dipset at all, Mike. Hold on, Mike. Jay Short, Dipset didn't pull up in Cali and do something to the people or something, do they? I don't know. We got some coastal beef going on.
You want to talk this drum work album?
Ooh, Hidden Drums.
Hidden Drums. Drum work. Did that come out today?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know when it came out.
For a second. Okay.
No crack music when I hear it.
Well, it was a lot of bars here. They jumped on a lot of dope beats.
I need to go to my notes.
I love the fact they jumped on Stick to the Script.
Mike, it's one of those beats that it's like You forget how dope the beat is?
I told you how dope the beat was. You was like, stick to the script ain't like that. I was like, no, stick to the
No.
script is like
You want to know what it
that.
is? It's because you're used to hearing Jay flex on so much stuff
Yeah.
that sometimes, you know, Jay is one of those guys, he can take over, you know what I'm saying?
Stick
And I
to the
don't mean
script's the
take
first
over,
song
break
that Justin.
over. I mean, he can just take over with his charisma, and so you'll forget how great some of the beats that he rhymes on are. Stick to the script is one of them. Like when I heard the Stick to the Script, I was like, what the fuck is that?
I love that
I
record.
was like, it took me a minute. I was like, hold on. I was like, what is it? I was like,
That's the first record
started
that
repeating.
him
I was
and
like, oh shit. I was like, let's stick to the script. I was like, damn. I said, this sounds pretty hard.
yeah, stick to the script hard. That's the first record that Just Blaze and Jay made together. I remember my first time hearing Stick to the Script. I was in Cumberland Mall, and it was like this New York throwback type of store that was in there. They sold like
I
all
know what you're
kind
talking
of,
about.
you know,
Upstairs across from the food court.
yeah. And I walked up, and they was always playing like East Coast stuff whenever you go in there.
Yeah, they was from up top. I remember
Yeah,
that.
and then I heard Stick to the Script. I was like, yo, this shit crazy. They call me William H. But yes, they got down on that record.
They got down on everything, Mike. I mean,
Drum work and rap.
you know what they are, Mike? Drum work and like just Griselda in general, Mike. They're just our modern day version of what the microphone fiends are. That's what I thought about when I really listened to this project. I really said to myself, Mike, I'm like, man, these niggas really love to rap.
Yeah.
They really love the rap. And you want to know what? And I had this thought about the love of the team to rap. They're going to outlast everybody, Mike. They're going to outlast fads. They're going to outlast trends because much like the song that we're talking about, Mike, much like those typical rap songs we was talking about Wednesday, they stick to the script, Mike.
Well, that's why Primo always wins, right? Like, people can say whatever they want about Premier, but Premier's production has a foundation in hip-hop's elements.
It's rap.
And it's always going to win. In every era. If Premier drops something now, you know what I mean? There are going to be some people to say, oh, that's 90s shit, whatever. But there's going to be a bunch of people that appreciate it, you know, not more so nationally, yes, but globally, yes. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about Static Selector, too, because he dropped a dope-ass album today.
Well, how about this? I mean, and it's like a double-edged sword. People can't be like, you know, well, thank y'all for covering and representing the real hip-hop, and be like, why y'all talk about Griselda and drum work so much? It's like, well, in case you were wondering how this works, they kind of represent a lot of the same things we do as an entity. You know what I'm saying?
They rapping.
We represent real hip-hop, do we not? Is it not according to hip-hop? Is it not for the people, by the people? It's like when I be looking at the people and people talk about rap, the number one complaint I hear from our generation is that, man, don't nobody say nothing. Ain't nobody trying to put nothing together. Nobody comes up with concepts anymore. Don't nobody really put lyrics and bars together. Don't nobody really kick nothing for the streets anymore. It's all a club and it's all a party. And then I'm like, and they got one gold plaque to show for it, which is Johnny P's caddy. You know
and Jay Skis made Burner Phone, you know?
Right. Which is Song of the Year up until today, maybe. Still today, probably maybe. Song of the Year. But we're going to have a
I think I just heard the best beat of 2023 so far, too, on the Static Selector album.
You really love that beat like that, don't you?
Yeah, that beat was
Stove
crazy.
Record? You talking about the Stove record, right?
Yeah. I played that shit in the car just to make sure I wasn't tripping. That shit's hard.
See, okay, I haven't played it in the car yet. I just played it on the speaker system here.
Yeah,
might have to ride to that.
Yeah, that shit's hard.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, the drum work, what I really loved about it, first of all, there's a Conway and West Side record on there.
Yeah.
And those records are becoming more of a rarity, so you kind of appreciate those records more now.
Right.
Right. When it's happening 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year, you're like, oh yeah, when the next one? And now it's like happening like once every 15 to 18 months, and it's like, well, damn. No. So that was what was dope. But the dopest part, Mike, I mean, once again, and we about to talk about her and talk about him a little bit, you know, in relationship to this, you can hear the growth of Love the Genius and Jay Skis on this.
Yeah.
You can hear that, oh, these dudes are always writing. These dudes and these ladies always writing, always reciting, always working, getting down, getting busy, getting better. I love the Love record. with the Lauryn Hill sample, because I'm going to tell you what, it's like I listened to Love's project twice today before I listened to anything else and took my notes on her project. And so I have some Lauryn Hill notes, but then to hear the drum work mixtape where she took the Lauryn Hill sample and freaked it, I was like, well, that's exactly what I was talking about in my notes. She liked that. We about to talk about that.
Yeah,
she liked that. We about to talk about that.
Shout out to Love. Nicodemus with the super chat says Drumwork released a song titled Elephant Man. Love the Genius released a tape with Green Lantern. We're about to talk about that.
We're about to talk about that shit.
Yeah, we're about to talk about
Green Lantern a little bit too, Mike.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I missed the super chat, but go ahead. You were going on your notes.
No. Go ahead, get to the super chat.
Nah, I think I got them all.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the mixtapes like Drumworks mixtape where people just spitting.
But just overall impressed with the project. I told you, Mike, it's been a long time since I heard a mixtape that actually sounded and felt like a mixtape, as in like the star artist on there, which is Conway, like lets his presence be known and be felt. But the real purpose of a dope mixtape is usually like a la 50 Cent is the future. 50 Cent is the future ain't really about 50 like that.
Right.
The homies. 50 know who he is. He like, no. I've been running with Nas and Bravehearts and Nature and Nori, and I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, Onyx. Well, you know what I mean? Like 50 already knew who he was. It was about getting the team on. And there was something about this mixtape that I love from the aesthetic that it was put together in that old school format and sense of like, it's like, there's the star, but there's the star making sure everybody gets off and gets on. And really the features on there are really skis and love heavy to let you know that they're drum work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they did, quite frankly, what we know them now to do, which is to show up and perform at a very high level. They are, like, at this point, Mike, you can't say, like, it's not just Conway and Benny that are two of the best MCs in the game. You would have to include Love and Skis in that. You probably have to include Che in that. You probably got to include Stove in that. So when you're talking about who the best MCs in the game are, it's like, no. A lot of them are coming out of this one collective in this one camp. And the drum work, Hidden Drums mixtape is just really more evidence. You know how we feel about evidence around here?
I agree with that. So, yeah, people need to go check that shit out, man. I miss the days when people were flexing on other beats that we've heard from other artists. I think they kind of stopped getting away. People got away from that. Go ahead, my bad.
No, it's just a good old jacking for beats, Mike. But it was a great jacking for beats.
They did a great job.
I was impressed. Like, I found myself listening to, Mike, mixtapes, especially usually after you listen to them for a while, you be like, but they just kept going in. So I was kind of like, It's like, I was like, it's just going to keep on going. And this is what I mean. It's a real mixtape. It's like, it's almost like they kept the Conway and the West Side song late to keep your attention some, too.
Let's talk
So it's a little bit of strategy.
I want to talk this Love album, if you don't mind.
Of course we can talk about this Love album.
Love the Genius and DJ Green Lantern. Shout out to Green Lantern and Love, who was our first.
The Genius tape?
Dropped the Genius tape. Love was actually, I think, our first major interview, you and I, on A2HH Live. So shout out to Love. Love was showing love from Jump Street.
Love was showing love from Jump Street. A lot of the things that I said 2 years ago when we first interviewed her, Mike, I'm about to say this shit again tenfold.
Well, go ahead. What were your first thoughts after listening to the Genius tape?
First of all, in my opinion, this is the new album of the year.
Okay.
So let me start off by saying that she's made the album of the year at this point, in my opinion, which means she actually just bumped her label mate down to number 2. So right now, in my opinion, the best 2 albums that I've heard this year from NN have come out of the same camp. And it's a camp that Conway runs, and it's not a Conway album. How about that?
Yeah.
These guys are fire, Mike. Can rap their ass off. But let me tell you the main thing that I heard, and here's my first note. She's filled all her holes as an MC. She is lacking nothing as an MC except for a big hit record. I'm going to tell you what I think the weakest part of her game is, because I like to talk about failure more than I like to talk about success first. That's personally, and when I do these reviews. I always felt like her flow was her weakest link. as in sometimes because she has a lot to say. And I know this as somebody who used to be an artist who struggled with the same thing, spending so much time trying to fit everything in. Sometimes it falls a little bit off kilter, rhythmic, and timing. She does a good job of catching herself and catching up in the past, but her flow has improved, Mike. Her flow is stellar right now. Now, here's what she's best at in terms of her contemporaries: word choice, usage, and diction. As in, like, she knows what word to use, what they mean, how to place them, where to place them, and how to make it work for her vocally. As in, she chooses words intentionally to help accentuate the nuances of her voice. You want me to keep going?
No, go ahead. I'm just reading some of the stuff in the chat. I'm listening to you.
Okay. Now, here's what she is. She's not the bar for bar lyricist that Che Noir is. Her and Sims are comparable with the concepts. You might say that Sims is more conceptually evolved at this point. But as far as lyrically to Che, she's very close. As far as conceptually to Sims, very close. She's not Armani Caesar with her voice, like her voice ain't Armani's voice, but she utilizes what she has vocally to the same level that Armani utilizes what she has vocally.
I love her voice. I would say their voices are comparable, in my opinion. I
do feel like they're comparable. I would still give Armani the edge. I'm talking about how she falls in with her contemporaries. Everything her contemporaries do, Mike, she's actually right there. Mm-hmm. But she's the one that has the better word choice, usage, and diction. But here's what she really has. Because she's close to all of them in that, she's really the most complete female MC we have right now, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Because here's and let me say, you know what I mean, because I don't want to slight her. She's just one of the most complete MCs, period, right now, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I agree with that.
And what she does conceptually may not match Sims just yet, but the embodiment of it as a black woman here in America, Mike, it's the closest thing we got to Lauren since we've had Lauren. And that's just the truth. And it's like that. Some of the stuff she says on this album is the stuff that I was saying 2 years about her with confidence, but it ain't me just saying it with confidence now. I'm saying it now like it's fact. It's like that. And she's the most complete female MC in the game today. In this project, Evidence. Where is it at? When she starts off back-end developer, I do my numbers well, whole Sudoku. Oh no, Mike, that's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know how when you pole vault, they keep on raising it to see how high you can go up on the bar. Like she's starting off jumping over big bars. Her bar work is improved. Everything about her is better. The way she uses her voice is better. Her flow is better. Conceptually, she's better. Like everything about her, she's just up very much like we were just saying about Skis, Mike. It's almost like crazy. I feel like the same thing that we were just saying about Skis. I'm sitting up here saying about Love all over again, except for like I just heard Love and seen it in Love before I seen it in Skis. So the Skis thing might have seemed more impressive to me, but this is Love the Genius becoming like the great MC that I knew that she always was from the moment that I heard her projects right before we interviewed her, specifically like Bailey Avenue and the Tunchi record. Mm-hmm. With Armani, because that when I heard those two records on one project, Mike, I'm like, no, there's nothing she can't do. She can feed the streets and she can feed your soul. That's a rare quality. That's a Lauryn Hill type of quality. Want me to keep going?
I mean, I can chime in real quick.
I'll say you can tell me what you think. I got more notes, Mike. We can keep going.
Well, I still have Jay Skis at number one, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you why. I got her at number one over him too, because it's a slight, but it's.
But I will say this: I do think, as far as like the lyricist of the year category, I mean, I think she's probably in the forefront of that. You know, based on this project, I would have this project at number two, based on everything I've heard this year. I heard like 2 verse of the year candidates on this album, possibly more than that, yeah. But the ones that stand out to me, Conway's verse on Brainstorming, and her verse on Neck Protected. I think the
Okay.
production's really, really dope on this project. I think the concepts are all the way there, but the lyricism and the way she puts that effort into her pen. I see a lot of people in the chat saying Rhapsody. Look, y'all know me.
Well,
If y'all watch the show, I've
I'm
never
telling
been that big on Rhapsody like that. I've always thought that Love was the better MC between the two, just in my personal opinion. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think this is a very, very dope project. This is that rap project that we always wanted from Love. And her saying that she's more of an R&B fan on this album, I thought was really funny because she really got into her pen game on this project. And I think the production is something that it's the drum work crew. They're balancing out this whole hardcore but soulfulness thing that they got going on, and I think it's
you.
great because the drawbacks from a lot of the stuff that comes out of the camp is the redundancy of some of the production, right? And I think
This ain't that.
what her and Jay Skis have done this year, they have been able to still keep that edge with their production, but not have the monotonous redundancy of some of the other projects. And I think they've done a great job of that.
I agree with everything that you've just said. They've done outside of Skis being number one. He's at number two now, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I would totally agree with everything that you've said, Mike. I actually, first of all, I want to say Conway. And I say this glowingly, because I talk about him lyrically a lot on here in his pen game and his writing ability, and we talk about how you can tell how Love and Skis have taken from his full penmanship game and applied it to their framework to stellar results this year. But when I heard him creeping in on brainstorming, Mike, I was like, don't let him flow. I was like, don't let his flow keep getting sick like this too,
Yeah.
because the flow was very late, great Frank Whitish.
Right.
I mean that in a way where it's like, oh, your flow gonna start getting sick like this too, because lyrically he's already there for me. I will put him next to a Cole and a Black Thought and a Nas and not have a problem lyrically. But now delivery, it sounded like he was going there. So it's like where his artists are becoming the pen game and lyricist and sharpshooter that he already is. It's like now his flow's getting sicker, their pen's getting better. They're a problem, Mike.
I would love, and I love,
That's the rhyme.
I love Shay and Rome Streets. I love their appearance on here, and I just can't help but think I would love to hear Che Noir and Love do an album together or do a project together.
Absolutely.
I think they
Absolutely. I would
sound great
actually,
together, and I think that, what I'm saying, the approach that they take with music from a soulful end and just making you feel where they're coming from. Because I've
see,
said
I
this
would,
before, I feel like Shay has some of that Beanie Siegel in her.
I do too, but here's what I would submit to you is that I would throw Armani in that mix and make it like that. The record that they did on Che's Food for Thought.
Hmm.
No. That works for a whole album on all levels. So that's
Hmm.
what I would really want to see, because I would want to see them get together and win big. And I think putting Armani into the equation with them just stylistically, like you need something, you need an offshoot of what they do to give it a different feel and a different look, a different angle. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now, that is the thing with Che and Love. Sometimes the lens is similar. I feel like Che is more lyrical, Love is more descriptive, but I do feel like some of the universes are parallel. You know what I mean?
What are we rating the album? Is it too early
Well,
to do that?
I'm not finished with my notes yet.
Oh, okay, cool. Somebody in the chat asked.
No, we'll get to with that in a minute. First of all, Mike, I have a quick question for you, because I was trying to ask myself, when the last time a Green Lantern project slapped like this, Mike?
I haven't been keeping up. He's been putting out a lot of projects.
No, but I'm asking you, when's the last time you can even remember a Green Lantern project where we had the reason to talk about it like
I
this?
mean, it's
That's what
been
I'm
a
asking.
minute. I don't remember anything since like the mixtapes that he was doing when like Eminem was on tour.
That's what I was thinking, Mike. So this is the best thing he's done in a while, unless somebody has some more evidence for me of the contrary.
We could
'Cause
be
I was trying
missing
to
some
think about the.
things.
Huh?
I said we could be missing some things. I mean, I'm sure he's
Yeah,
done
no. If we're
something.
missing some things, I want to know because I was thinking to myself, I was like, when the last time Green Lantern made some heat, had some heat like this floating around? Because this is some heat, Mike.
Yeah.
This ain't regular. This some heat. This is my album of the year right now, and let me tell you why. On this album, I feel like there are two Song of the Year's contenders, and on Jay Ski's album, I only feel like there's one, and so I want to break that down right quick. I still think Burner Phone is the Song of the Year. And the mic performance of the year on one song, Mike. We're talking about mic performance on one song for a year, it's Burner Phone. But if we talk about mic performance for an album so far this year, Love has delivered the best mic performance I've heard this year on record from end to end. And listen to what I'm saying when I'm saying this. I'm not saying lyrically. When I'm saying mic performance, think about the full encompassing scope of what it is to have a mic performance, not just the bars that you deliver, how you deliver them, how the records come off, how you're riding the beat, how your vocal inflection, how you're using your pitch, your tone, your cadence, like everything. It's the best mic performance I've heard this year end to end on an album, so that's why I'm giving it the edge for one. But with Lost on Mars, Mike, and with Neck Protected, oh no, those are two Song of the Year contenders. Mike, like, I don't know if, have you really listened to Lost on Mars?
No, it's dope.
Mike, I know I give Kendrick a lot of flack on here, but here's what I don't give him flack about. I don't give him flack about Good Kid, Mad City, in particular, a song called Real. Lost on Mars has shades of Kendrick Lamar on Real, and I mean that in the highest order and glowing sense of the word. You know what I'm saying? Like what Kendrick Lamar is on Real on Good Kid, Mad City, she's on Lost on Mars. It's like that as a song if you're really listening to where she's going and where she's taking it, because she's explaining some things about the black condition too without overemphasizing it. Okay?
Yeah.
From the male and the female perspective, much like Kendrick Lamar did on Real. So I encourage people to listen to the record just off the perspective that she offers on Lost on Mars. But my Neck Protected, when I heard Neck Protected, I was like, and this is why it's album of the year. So it didn't become album of the year to me till the last song. But Neck Protected is the scale tipper for me because she got two Song of the Year contenders. Because Che verse, I mean, no disrespect to Rome, but Che and Love bodied this shit, Mike. And this is the album ender. It's one of the best songs of the year. And it's two of the best verses of the year.
It's a dope album ender.
It's a great album, Mike. Neck Protected is why I picked the Genius tape over the Skis album. You know what I'm saying? Because it's literally that close to me. Neck Protected is the scale tipper about Che and Love's performances and about the song as a whole. You listen to what Che said when she come in?
I forgot what she said.
Play tug of war with these streets. I jump rope through these loopholes. I'm gonna say that again. Play tug of war with these streets. I jump rope through these loopholes. She nice.
Oh, yeah.
She not just okay nice. That's nice stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean is like lyrically, Che is the one, but Armani's not that far off because here's where Armani takes it. And this is what I mean about the Lauryn Hill comparisons, because this is where I heard the Lauryn for real. I take a hi-hat and take it home as a keeper. I call one of my OGs who got rich from selling reefer.
You talking about Love. Like, you said Armani.
I'm talking about Love. I'm sorry. No. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like when I hear the Lauryn in her, it's on Neck Protected, like the most. It's like she has the versatility and the concepts, but I'm talking about the agility within the bars to contextualize a lot of different things. Listen to what she's saying. I take a hi-hat and take it home as a keeper. I call one of my OGs who got rich from selling reefer. Set it up like he told me I'm about to fuck the streets up. I hit him with the piece before I let him fuck my piece up. And yeah, they gonna think, but none of these niggas can keep up. You dealing with the Sphinx. My timing came from Egypt. Tell me that don't sound like Lauryn.
That's just great lyricism, period.
When I heard it, I was like, is that Love or is that Lauryn? Because I don't know.
You know who that really sounds like, though? And again, I guess I'm taking the whole gender out of it. That sounds Jizza-like to me.
That's what I mean about lyrically. That's what I'm saying.
That sounds like some Jizza bars, to be perfectly honest.
I hit him with the piece before I let him fuck my piece up.
Yeah.
And yeah, they gonna think, but these niggas can't keep up.
Jay Short with the super chat
says, we got a winner on our hands, everybody.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "I love Cam. I just like to pick with the Dipset to tease the New Yorkers and highlight the East Coast entitlement and double standard in hip hop." Right. People saying that Jada would beat T.I., there's definitely something going on. Jay Short with the super chat says, "So why haven't we gotten a classic Griselda compilation album like Wu-Tang or Dreamville?" I think that this
What classic compilation do Wu-Tang have?
hey, talking about their albums. 36
Oh, you're talking about
Chambers.
an actual album. That's not a compilation. That's Into the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers.
I
But they didn't come in as a group.
I think this
They're not a
drum
group.
work compilation or mixtape is comparable to the Dreamville stuff, in my opinion.
It is. No. You know what? You want to know the difference? It doesn't have Stick on it. But other than that,
Oh, yes, Stick's on.
yeah, Stick would be the separator, but it's right there with the Dreamville mixtape, as a matter of fact.
I think other than Burner Phone, I still think what is it? Eakin 3. I think that's a song of the year candidate too, in my opinion. Eakin 3 was dope. Sideline Sock is pretty dope too.
It's close, Mike. And and tell me, maybe I'm being biased because I did kind of like, between the two of them, I did lean towards more Love first. You know what I'm saying? But that was about, Mike, you remember we had the conversation? It's like, remember I asked her about Bailey Avenue? It's like, I was like, I don't listen to rap all the time. And I feel like when I hear you, you don't listen to rap all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And remember what she said? She was like, no. She's like, I listen to everything. And like, I heard that. So I kind of maybe gravitated toward her, like, artistically. Like, when I mean artistically, I mean that was probably the artist and the writer in me was more drawn to her than maybe the person that's actually, like, doing the show and objectively reviewing. So maybe that part of me might be a little bit biased about the albums, too, because they appear to be very even to me. But I would give the Genius Tape the slight edge.
I think his album is, again, I think both of them put out really, really dope albums. Two of the
They're
best
both
albums
very
of the
well
year.
produced.
And two of the best albums of the year so far. I know people are like, y'all pick an album of the year in June. No, we're just kind of keeping up with the year. But I will say this, I think that his album may be more complete. This one is really dope, but it plays more like a mixtape of sorts.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's still better to me, though.
No. And again, I think that's definitely debatable. I ain't knocking it. I'm just saying why I have, Skeez's album just slightly above it. What are we rating this? I was thinking off top like a 4.5 is where I was at, like, or 4.3 to 5 or something like that.
Well, I was about to say, I think it's on the same level as the Skis, but slightly better. Mm-hmm. But here's what I tell you. But this is what I mean is like, well, I'm going to be objective and just give it a 4.5 because I don't think I heard something above that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I heard a 4.5 like I heard when I was hearing Skeez's album. I just think Love's album's a little bit better, mostly about the last record and what Che and her did on the record. So it's like, it's close. It ain't like it's like, no, I don't feel comfortable enough giving it a whole rating point higher than the Skis. How about that?
Okay. Well,
4.5 for the Genius Tape.
Okay. I think this kind of gets into our next topic, actually. And then we could talk about Static Selector before we close out. But we want to do the group conversation or the female MC conversation.
I'm gonna let you run it. You can audit it.
Let's do this. Let's talk about this top groups thing because I want a lot of people's input. I think when we start talking albums, people kind of tune out and start going to La La Land. So I want to do something a little engaging real quick. We're gonna rate the top. Should we do top 50 hip hop groups of all time?
See, I was thinking maybe do top 30 groups.
Uh-huh.
How about this? I maybe like do a top 40 and then do top 10 DJ / producer duos and then do top 10 collectives.
Okay.
I think that's a good way to do it. Because I look at it like this. Boot Camp Clique isn't really a group. They're really a collective. Dipset's a collective. G-Unit's a collective.
And let's define that real quick.
You need to have a group album first or you're a collective.
I agree.
Right. If your
Wu-Tang is a group because Wu-Tang signed to Loud Records as a group, and they put out an album as a group and then spread out from there.
Right.
Now, if you're a solo act, or a collective is, a clique full of individual groups, like Dungeon Family, right? Outkast, Goody Mob. Yeah. Outkast, Goody Mob, Cool Breeze, Witch Doctor, backbone. These are all individual artists, acts that come together to be a collective.
Right.
I don't even think Death Row's a record label. See that's kind of what that BET
That's
tournament did. That's kind of dicey. We're not counting record labels either. Does Cash Money count as a crew or a record label?
no. They're a collective too, Mike,
Okay.
because they were solo artists. Because Juvenile was always a solo artist. BG and Wayne used to be in a group called BGs together. I forget even when Turk popped up. And then before that, they had UNLV before all those dudes even got there. So that's a collective because there wasn't no Hot Boys album first. You
So
feel
who's
me?
in the Cash Money Millionaire collective, would you say?
Depends what era you talking. That's what I'm saying. They go back
Yeah.
to UNLV and they go already up to Drake and Nicki and all those guys, including Lloyd and like stuff like that. So it's about, that's what I'm saying, how you want to call it.
Let me submit this. I feel like the Cash Money Millionaire crew, in my opinion,
See you more.
is Hot Boys and Big Timers. Just like I feel like the Rockefeller clique is Jay, Emil, Memphis, and Beans.
See, that's what I mean. How about this? Like State Property Collective, not
Yeah.
a group.
Yeah.
That's a collective. That's not a group.
Yeah, that's a collective.
The Locks are a group. Their first album is Money, Power, Respect. They
Yeah,
got
the
released
Locks
as a
are a group. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
No.
Dipset Collective. Cam had 2 albums before they were even seen the Dipset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because usually in this collective situation, not all the time, there's an individual act that is there to put the collective on the map. Dungeon Family, Outkast. Dipset, Cam. G Unit, 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wu
Now, here's what
came
I
in
will-
as a group. That's a group.
Now, I'll tell you the most striking thing that I noticed. And here is where DJ Premier is a linchpin of a lot of things and a very interesting talking point. When we think about Gangstar, we think about Gangstar differently than we think about any of the producer MC combos.
Yep.
And it's because of what Primo did on Illmatic and Ready to Die, Mike. It changed everything because here's the reality of the matter. Like, I don't even really know who Eric B is a producer without Rakim. You feel me?
Exactly.
I don't really know who Polo is without Cool G Rap. Mike, I don't know who DJ Jazzy Jeff is without the Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
But when Preem did the 3 tracks on Illmatic and did Unbelievable on Ready to Die in 94, he changed the dynamic of everything because people look at Gangstar kind of the way they look at Outkast and Mobb Deep. And I'm like, that's more Eric B and Rakim.
And see, that's why we need to have some level of a criteria when we're talking about that DJ MC group dynamic, because I feel like Gangstar has to be number one. I understand what you're saying about Eric B and Rakim, but if we look at the individual parts, like you said, we don't know what all Eric B did. We know what Guru and Premier did from album to album.
I will tell you this, Mike. I will tell you this. They would be number 2 on my list because by putting them number 1, you're actually taking Rakim down a level because his best 3 albums have Eric B's name attached to them. So although I hear what you're saying, putting Gangstar at number 1 means we're saying paid in full, follow the leader, and let the rhythm hit him isn't as impactful as it is. And the reality of the matter is that the Rakim albums that say Eric B and Rakim, those 4 albums are better than Gangstar's 4 best albums. And that's really just it at the end of the day because they don't have no goddamn paid in full.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we need criteria.
But that's what I'm saying, Mike. We're not about to take Rakim down about Gangstar.
It's not about taking Rakim down. Rakim is who he is, but
so Eric B and Rakim is number 1 about that. You understand what I'm saying? Because Guru and Premier for producing and MCing are not who the God is. Love Preem.
What do y'all think in the chat?
Producing.
What do y'all think in the chat? Let me get to some of the super chats.
Producing.
Let me get to some of the super chats real quick. CJ Kid with the super chat says, "Is it me or are all the modern albums Illmatic length?" Yeah, we were going back to the vinyl era when it comes to that. I said that a couple years ago. KC1 with the super chat says, "Cash Money was built on Juvie, and he was the best." Yeah, he was. Built on 400 Degrees specifically, and I would say the most important player in all of that is Manny. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, "Don't forget Gangstar Foundation as a collective. That's Gangstar Group Home, J. Rue, Big Shug, Freddie Fox, MOP. See, all right, this is what I want to do here too. I
Oh, they're a
think
great
we
collective.
also in these
Group
type of
Home, did he put Group Home in there?
yeah, he did.
He did.
I
Okay.
think in these group conversations, I mean these collective crew conversations, in my opinion,
You
I
need to have
think
an
we
album.
need one compilation album. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of people who claim that, you know what I'm saying, we're this, we're that, whatever. They just throw names on stuff. We need an actual compilation album. Dungeon
It's a
Family
boot
has a
camp.
compilation album. Dipset has a compilation album. Um, Digging in the Crates
Heat
crew.
Unit.
Digging in the Crates crew has a compilation album.
Ooh, DITC,
Yeah,
yes.
they got
Yes.
one. So for
Yes.
people who just call themselves even native tongue, they don't have a compilation album, so I can't include that.
No. Y'all
Yeah.
all separate. But you want to know it? When I was thinking about this, is that the native tongues are probably going to have the most groups register, though, because they've got the Jungle Brothers,
Yeah.
Tribe, De La, and if you want to go new generation, they got the Roots and they got Black Star. That's 5.
And they got Black Sheep and Chi Ali and Queen Latifah
I don't know if Black Sheep gonna make it.
and Moni Love.
I don't know if Black Sheep gonna make it.
Oh yeah. Michael Williams with the super chat says, "Checkmate by Kiss is one of the best diss records ever. No other diss is so concise, covered all bases, and viciously shredded 50 in less than 2 minutes. And you know what?
Mike,
That
Mike.
record and the Beans record is exactly why I can't put the bitch on you super high, because I can't lie to myself and say that I like the bitch in you more than I do Checkmate or Put Your Hands Up. I don't.
I get what you're saying inherently, and I say this respectfully about Beanie Siegel or Jada Kiss. Well, them at their peak have never been Ice Cube, so
That's
fuck
true.
all that.
That's true.
They've never been Ice Cube at their peak.
So you're going more so on the person that was aimed at in the diss record more so than the actual record itself.
Mike, there's a reason that the most famous story in the Old Testament of the Bible is David and Goliath. There's a reason for that. You know that? You know that story is even more famous than the story of our creation. There's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for it, fundamentally and inherently, about how we think as man and woman, you know, in this society, in this world that we live in. David and Goliath. So it's like, yeah, for what Ice Cube was, for what Common was not, and for what he said and what he did, nigga, you slinging St. Ides and bean pies in the same sentence. It's like, no, fuck a checkmate and kiss the game goodbye. Y'all ain't Ice Cube in fucking 1992, 3, 4, 5. Like, no.
Do you think that it really registered with Cube?
Like that don't
though?
matter. Mike, when Mike Tyson was lost late in his career to Lennox Lewis, there's not anybody that thought that had Lennox Lewis fought a real prime Mike Tyson, that Mike wouldn't have drug his ass across the floor. You feel me?
You think so?
Common faded Cube in his prime. Cube's prime is better than these other guys' prime. Mike, I hold Ether high. A lot of it is because it's like, oh no, I was there and I remember how high Jay was and how far he fell even because of Ether. Stop acting like that's not part of the battle thing.
Well,
Part of
I
why I
think
don't
the
have
difference-
Pimp Slap high, Mike, is because even though Pimp Slap's a great record, what did Pimp Slap do to Suge?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing, though, Coop. What did that record really even do to Cube? Did Cube even really acknowledge the record like that? Now, when you're
but what
talking
did it
about
do for
when you're
Common?
talking
Now we're
about
talking-
Ether and Jay, it's like, yeah, Jay had to respond to that, and he caught, you know, all back and forth. It was a true back and forth. I just never really felt like the Common and Cube thing was a true back and forth.
Did you know who Common really was before the bitch in you? Because most people didn't.
I did.
That's my point.
I did, but you know.
No, Mike, did you really know who he was? Like, were you familiar with Can I Borrow a Dollar and Resurrection like that, Mike?
I was familiar with I used to
One
love
day
her.
it'll all make sense.
I was familiar with I used to love her. I had seen, you know, Common stuff on, you know what I'm saying, Rap City. I saw
So
the
you weren't
stuff.
familiar. That's what I exactly.
But I'm
that's
saying,
exactly my point.
I'll put it this
People
way,
got
though, Coop.
familiar after that, though.
Not
didn't
really
they?
though. The bitch and you really didn't register. Maybe because I was here.
Okay,
I didn't
so,
really
Mike, I'm
hear
gonna break it
that
down
until
to you like
later.
this. If you look at it, Mike, look at his career before the bitch in you, and listen to what I'm saying. Oh, Well, it's Can I Borrow a Dollar and Resurrection with no ID. The
Mm-hmm.
Bitchin' You comes out. Black Thought start ending up on records. Q-Tip start ending up on records. CeeLo start ending up on records. Lauryn Hill start ending up on records. Cannabis start ending up on records. Erykah Badu start ending up on records. How you think that all happened, Mike?
I
Where you
know.
think people really started finding out about who Common was? Because before the Bitchin' You, it was no ID in Common. After the Bitchin' You, all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying?
So
And it's a
people
Pete
weren't
Rock
rocking
beat.
with I Used to Love Her?
What I'm saying is people are familiar, but are people fucking with you?
I always attributed all the things you just said to the success of I Used to Love Her and Resurrection and him kind of turning the corner there. In songs like Hungry and all of that. Like, that's what I
That's
always
all one day
attributed
it'll
it
all
to.
make sense, but that's after the Bitchin' You. That's what I'm saying.
No, Hungry is on, I thought that
One
was
day
on
it'll all make
Resurrection.
sense. That's 97, right?
Or am I thinking about the song Resurrection?
Resurrection is 94, Mike. But
Yeah,
Hungry
Resurrection is
is
94, and that's
97.
I Used to Love Her.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But people wasn't fucking with Common like that.
I thought that was the record that really broke him in that sense. I mean, I could
What
be
I'm trying to
wrong.
tell you, Mike, is that the Bitchin' You put Common on everybody's radar. And when his next album came out, his next album had features from everywhere that it didn't have before the Bitchin' You. It might be I Used to Love Her, but I always thought it was about the Bitchin' You because it got him a certain level of notoriety and respect in the game.
What do
For
y'all
actually
think?
having
What do the people out there think? Because, yeah, I always thought it was I Used to Love. And I've heard, I heard the Bitch in You, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it
Hold on.
registered like that.
Leo, I see you. Lennox Lewis would have got his ass whooped by Prime, Evander Holyfield, and Mike Tyson. We was all there and seen that too. Don't know.
I don't agree with you on that either, but we can go on a whole tangent. Jay Short with a
Would've
super
whooped
chat
that ass.
says,
you know, you're talking about Lennox Lewis ain't like that, Mike. He was just a great boxer in a bad time. Sorry.
Lennox Lewis beat everybody. He did.
He ain't beat much. Sorry.
I mean, what I saw, and I remember when I watched this fight, and I know Mike wasn't in his prime, I saw Lennox Lewis have a level of reach where Mike couldn't even get close to him. But, that's what I saw.
No. He had a reach where Mike couldn't get close to him. But, Mike fought a lot of guys like that early on, whooped that ass, too. That's
But
what I'm
they
saying.
weren't
That ain't the
Lennox,
same Mike.
though. We're not going to disrespect Lennox. He was a great fighter.
No, I'm not disrespecting Lennox, but Lennox ain't Mike. I don't care what you think you know. Anybody that got Lennox Lewis ranked all time over Mike Tyson as a heavyweight boxer don't know boxing. So
well, let me ask you this though: who did Mike
Lennox
Tyson
Lewis is
fight?
not a better Lennox Lewis is not a better all time boxer than Mike Tyson. Ain't nobody saw Mike in his prime buying that shit.
Let me ask you this: who did Mike Tyson fight that make you feel like he would have just drugged Lennox like that?
Who did Lennox fight?
Don't answer my question with the question.
I mean, well, he fought Holyfield in his prime, which is something that Lennox didn't do. He fought an old Holyfield. He fought these guys old. That's what I'm saying, Mike. He wouldn't have beat either one of those guys live in his prime. Nobody that knows boxing believes these things. There might be people who are British that believe these things. But once again, I'm going to say this. Well, people who know boxing.
Well, again, maybe I didn't understand your answer. What fight did Mike have in his prime that makes you feel like he would have beaten Lennox Lewis?
I told you he fought Evander. I told you he fought Holyfield in his prime.
You feel like that was still Mike's prime? Because I feel like he fought Holyfield slightly after his prime.
I feel like that was the end of his prime, but Mike.
And he lost that fight too.
Yeah, I mean, Holyfield's the best fighter in his era, though. And
so that's what I'm saying. Like, who did he beat is what I'm asking. Like, who did he beat?
No, I'm asking you who Lennox beat, too. So it's like I can say the same thing about Lennox, except for one of them was more greater and more feared in their prime as a champion. That's what I'm saying. If all things being equal and neither one of them really beat anybody comparable, give me 88 Tyson. You can take whatever year Lewis, but my guy knocking your guy out by about 3-4 rounds.
Well, I guess I'm asking this because I saw the reach difference, and I'm kind of just asking if there was anybody that Mike beat at that time that had the level of reach and size and, precision that Lennox had.
His precision wasn't like that, Mike. He just wasn't fighting nobody. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He had a good
fought
chance.
Everybody, though. I mean, I've heard people argue.
Hold on, Mike. I answered your question. Now answer mine. You keep saying he fought everybody. Name the people for me.
He fought Mike Tyson.
No. I mean, name the people who he fought in their prime. Like, you asked me who he beat, like, that was important. I'm asking you, who did Lennox beat in his prime that was like somebody that we feared or realized as a Hall of Fame boxer? Name one Hall of Fame boxer in his prime he beat.
He beat Holyfield.
No, I said in his prime. I keep on bringing up that whole prime thing. Like, you understand, like, part of why I think Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time, right? It's not like the Joe Frazier thing. It's like, no, it's the everybody he fought thing. It's like, no. He fought like 7 Hall of Fame boxers, Mike.
Well, who do you feel Mike beat?
Huh?
Who do you feel like Mike beat that was just so excellent?
I mean, he did beat Spinks, Mike, who is a Hall of Fame boxer. He did beat somebody in the Hall of Fame to win his title. So Spinks is a fighter. Spinks as a heavyweight is better than anybody that Lennox ever beat.
You think Spinks is a better boxer than Lennox Lewis?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think that. But him beating Spinks is better than anybody Lennox beat. Who Lennox beat, Mike?
Holyfield.
In their prime.
Let's see.
I said in their prime. You keep on saying that Holyfield thing.
When did he beat Holyfield when? He beat Holyfield in 99. And
that's not Holyfield's prime, Mike. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
When did
when we graduate, Mike, when Holyfield's in his prime, we're not even in middle school. You talking about when we about to graduate high school. You understand this boxing, right? That was 7 years prior that he had his prime. Like, his prime probably ended by 96, 97. Like, you're talking about 99.
Let's see. When did Mike fight Holyfield?
Feels like 96, 97.
I mean, not too far apart.
Like, 2 years matter in boxing. Don't play those games. Do not play those games to make it seem like 2 years don't matter in boxing. Mayweather, Pacquiao, Mike. If it happens 2 years earlier, it's a different fight. Right, 2 years matter.
Okay, let's move on. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Coop, you're trying to rig the rules for Wu-Tang. I see you."
First of all, it's Wu-Tang forever. Wu-Tang forever.
Well, that's not rigging the rules. They actually are a group. You know, I know a lot of people look at Wu-Tang as a crew, and I could see that. But this is the thing. This is what goes against Wu-Tang, though, as a group. We have to count everything that took place as a group. You know what I'm saying? So if we're talking about all-time groups, and let's just say, hypothetically, Wu-Tang and Tribe are the conversation, we got to talk about Tribe albums, and we got to talk about Wu-Tang albums. We're not talking about Method Man album and Q-Tip's albums. You know what I'm saying? Is that fair?
That's fine. Oh, Mike. No, Mike. I'm about to bring up.
Oh, I want to have a boxing. We got a lot of stuff to get
Mike,
to.
You tried to talk about this man like he's great.
You know
who the best person he beat? First of all, he beat Razor Ruddock. You think Razor Ruddock is Donovan Ruddock? You remember Razor Ruddock?
We got too much to get to, Coop, to even go on this sidebar.
Okay, I just want to know. Lionel Butler, Oliver McCall, Tommy Morrison. Yeah, Mike.
Tommy Morrison.
Lewis.
Tommy Gunn in this bitch.
Whatever,
I mean, really,
Mike.
neither one of them fought a lot of great guys. Let's be real.
All I'm saying is in 1992 when he was beating Razor Ruddock, I ain't see him trying to get no Holyfield Tyson fight because he would have got that ass whooped. Right.
It's
he
not
waited
like
till they got old. Mike, he waited till Tyson and Holyfield got old until he decided he wanted to fight them. He became champ in 92. Now, why the fuck he ain't fight Tyson or Holyfield? Because his ass was shook. And ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
All I know is what happened. You know what I'm saying?
All I know is he ran until them niggas got old. He won his belt in 92 and then he ran.
There's not a lot of people that Mike fought. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
He won a belt in 92 and ran from Mike and Holyfield.
Honestly, man, Evander Holyfield was trying to fight Mike Tyson early, and that didn't happen either.
You want to know why Holyfield and Tyson were trying to fight each other? Because they were the best. Lennox Lewis wasn't on the radar, but he was right there.
But why wasn't Mike Tyson trying to fight Holyfield?
He won the WBC belt in 92. Now, wasn't nobody talking about no damn Lennox Lewis Holyfield fight, no Lennox Lewis Mike Tyson fight, because he wasn't one of the best heavyweights when all three of them was walking around.
Again, why wasn't Tyson taking the Holyfield fight when Holyfield wanted to fight him early?
Oh, Mike, because Holyfield's the best. Mike was shook of Holyfield. But Mike way better than Lennox. Don't get that shit twisted.
It's hard to say way better when you lost.
Mike, New York don't respect you right now, Mike. I don't believe you're talking about Mike like this on the chat. Knowing we got to, Mike, we have to go back up to New York.
I love Mike. I'm just trying to be, neutral here. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, to continue Gangstar Foundation, Bahamadia, Afaru, True Master, Hannibal, Stax, NYG. Where's the album though? But you said they needed an album. They have an LP though, EP though. Excuse me. Mad Max with the super chat says good music and YCMB and MMG better remake the top 10 collectors. Yeah, I mean they got albums though.
I like CMG.
Cruel Summer is pretty dope.
Good music. Yep. Yeah, good music. Good music's in the conversation.
Yep. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, remember the B in You was 1995.
Resurrection. since '94.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It could have propelled. Like I said, for me, it didn't register, but it seems like it did elevate.
How about this? I don't remember I used to love her on mixtapes. Oh, I remember the bitch on you on those New York mixtapes, Mike. That's what I'm saying. I used to love her. I don't remember I used to love her on the New York mixtapes. I remember the bitch on you on there. Yeah,
Now, that's interesting. Him putting the diss record out on Cube could have been his vehicle to New York.
I'm trying to tell you it was, Mike. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says Lennox or Riddick Bowe. We're not gonna have this conversation. Lennox, of course. How
Bowe.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, Riddick Bowe actually whooped people's ass, including a prime Holyfield. He actually fought Holyfield in his prime, unlike that scary motherfucker.
Riddick Bowe's better than Lennox Lewis now. Okay.
No, Riddick Bowe fought him in his prime.
Deontay Smith with the super chat says Coop. Deontay Smith says Coop. Lennox would have still won. Tyson was not that effective in a long fight. Lennox wasn't getting KO'd early. I agree with that.
Y'all talking like Lennox is Holyfield in the ring. He's not. He's not the tactician. He's not the intelligent fighter. He's just big and strong with long reach and a jab. Mike would have waxed that ass in his prime. Shame on y'all.
007.
You don't watch boxing.
007 with the super chat says Tyson defeats.
Frazier whooped Muhammad Ali's ass one time.
007 with the super.
Muhammad Ali. He whooped Muhammad Ali's ass one time.
007 with the super chat says Tyson defeats everyone, especially with Cousin D'Amato.
That's D'Amato, right? If he got, that's his prime, Mike. If he got cussed, ain't nobody beating him except Holyfield. That's what I'm saying. Damn sure ain't about to be no motherfucking Lennox Lewis.
Yo, man.
Yo, wow.
Mike Tyson gets Allen Iverson love.
Mike, Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali had 3 of the most epic fights ever. Do you know what the reach distance was? Y'all talking about this reach thing. If y'all see the joke, y'all know what Joe Frazier reach difference is with Ali, right? Why was Frazier such a problem for Ali then? Y'all talking about this reach shit. Shut up. I don't know boxing.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says thoughts on Prime George Foreman versus Prime Tyson.
That might be Foreman.
It'll look like Foreman and Frazier probably.
Right, which means Foreman, because Foreman abused Frazier because it's the same style of fighting, just one guy is noticeably bigger. So the same thing that happened to Frazier probably happened to Mike.
Mike Tyson gets that Allen Iverson love and Kevin Durant love from Coop.
No, Mike, Holyfield's my guy, Mike. I'm from the A, but I know what time it was.
Now, Tyson was great. The knockout kid was crazy.
Hold on, quick Coop story. Met Mike Tyson in Orange County, California once, Mike. Y'all talking about, no, I seen his arms. I seen that reach.
Incredible.
You don't want that hitting you right here.
No, you don't. Mad Max with the super chat says.
For you if he do that.
Mad Max with the super chat.
My damn hand when I shook it, Mike. He almost broke my hand when he shook it.
Strong dude. Mad Max with the super chat says that's the same Mike who beat the old Larry Holmes, prime Larry, sparking Mike. So let's not just say Mike and Floyd beat many when Fitz was older. Said Mike and Floyd beat many when Fitz was older. Let's see. Jay Short with the super chat says Coop, David Stern, Wu-Tang is the Lakers. So if Wu-Tang is a group, so is NWA, right? If so, case closed. NWA is a group.
It is. They're a group with 2 albums.
They are a group with 2 albums. 2 great albums.
Hold on. Now here's what I will say. Riddick Bowe did duck Lennox Lewis, though. And I've always held that against Riddick Bowe, too. But Riddick Bowe did fight Holyfield in his prime and whoop Holyfield, but he did duck Lennox Lewis. He actually gave up his belt instead of fighting Lennox Lewis, but that's why Riddick Bowe ain't getting no flex in this conversation either.
What are the criteria for top groups of all time?
I think, Mike, you know, what we have is that, did you realize that it's like, there are more classic albums that I feel like come from a collective effort that are tagged by a solo artist than there are actually group classic solo albums.
What do you mean group classic solo albums?
Like if you actually think about the 15 greatest albums of all time, only like 4 of them are actually like group albums. That would be It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, Enter the Wu-Tang, The Low End Theory, and The Infamous by Mobb Deep. Everything else is kind of solo MC but collectively driven.
I
with the
would
exception of a,
I would
with the
go with
exception of a
Kumina
few
instead of
arbitrary
Infamous, in
projects.
my
Hold
opinion.
on, go ahead. I
I would
didn't
go
mean to
with
put
Kumina
you.
instead of Infamous. My bad. In my opinion, I would swap those out.
No. We can put a Aquemini in there too in that mix. But this is what I'm saying. I mean, group albums that don't have a collective feel to them. Aquemini has a
I
collective
got what
feel
you're
to them.
saying. I got what you're
I
saying.
mean, true group album. Like outside of Eye for an Eye and Right Back at You, that's straight up Mobb Deep. You feel what I'm saying? Enter the Wu Tang is straight up Wu Tang. Low End Theory, straight up Tribe. It Takes a Nation, straight up Public Enemy. And so about that, I would tell you that making a classic group album is actually harder than making a solo album or an album by a solo artist that has collective input. Doggy Style, The Purple Tape,
Yeah.
The Chronic.
Well, the
You feel
zones
me?
are different. More people have to be in the zone.
Right. And so it's harder. And so I would tell you, you need at least one classic album. Wouldn't you say? Don't you think that's fair? You need one classic album? Because I think with our solo MCs, the buy-in is two, but about the difficulty with the group, it needs to be one.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
what
I
you'll
agree
find
with that.
is- well, hold on, because what you'll find is that if you're asking of two classic solo albums out of a group, oh, well, only about 5 or 6 groups even fit the criteria, and that's where a group like NWA would supplant maybe a Wu-Tang because they got straight out of Compton and niggas for life. The problem is they don't have anything else.
How about this? We need to let's look at the criteria that we have for the MC thing, right? And let's see which ones we can keep and tailor to a group thing, and which ones just don't that aren't applicable to a group. You know what I mean?
So you want to see what we have criteria-wise
Yeah.
that applies
Yeah.
on the group format. I got you. Oh, Mike, I like that idea. That's
KC1 with the super chat says Prime Keith Murray versus Lupe. I got Keith. Was listening to Rhyme and the most beautiful thing. It's wild. I love Keith, man. Y'all mythological
I just want to let
niggas.
you know, y'all have been
comical.
driving me crazy this year. Y'all have been driving me nuts this year. Really? Really?
Nah, I got Lupe over Keith, but yeah, Keith
I think
is
everybody even knows how I feel about Lupe. I'm holding old deleted tweets of his because I got him in his feelings. I'm keeping those tweets, by the way. I'm gonna use those one day. But that's some of the dumbest shit I've heard today. I'm not gonna say this year because a lot of y'all have been saying some completely absurd stuff to me this year. Really?
Y'all mythological niggas is comical. My astronomical is coming through like the flu bombing you.
Mike, I think impact is something that translates from solo artist to group.
Impact translates. I'm with that.
I think live performance translates.
Live performance translates for sure.
I think lyrics translate.
I think so. Huh. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if storytelling translates.
That doesn't translate.
Right. So we'll put a star by storytelling has in. Keep that off the marker.
It's very tough for a group to tell stories.
Correct. You know what I thought about, though? You want to know what a great example of collective storytelling is?
Artist
This is going to seem crazy. This is what I'm about to say. Where's Sean off P. Diddy and the Family, The Saga Continues album? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they all pick it up, the story to find Diddy.
That's rare, you know.
It's great though.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that if you know your rap stuff and you know where Sean, it's like, oh no, they showed out.
Yeah. To get a collective story is kind of rare. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, artist storytelling with Big Boy, Dre, you know, Susie Screw and Sasha Thumper and all that stuff.
Right. Susie Screw had a partner named Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's rare. Classic albums, Mike, I think that applies.
Yep, classic albums applies.
Classic songs apply, Mike.
Yep.
The longevity of albums apply.
Okay. Classic songs, longevity of albums.
Longevity of songs.
Yep, that applies.
I don't think classic collaborations apply.
Nope.
Career longevity quality, I think that applies.
Yep.
I'd like to point out that Wu-Tang and Nas are in Ireland right now tearing shit up after leaving France. You know, that whole career longevity thing.
Well, how about this, though?
Voice, I don't think we can count because it's too many damn voices
Too
to count.
many voices. As far as the longevity, what about the groups that lost somebody? Which is a lot of groups. Well, I guess that's just factored in like everything else, because Tupac.
I'm about to say, Mike, I hate to quote, you know, one of my favorite groups, but until my death, My goal is to stay alive. Survival of the fit. Only the strong survive.
Well, I mean, again, that affects Mobb Deep in that way too.
But you can't knock people that have lived on either.
Yeah, that's true.
You get what I'm saying? That's unfair to the people whose members have stayed alive.
Yeah.
I say that as a Mobb Deep fan. That's why I brought up the Mobb Deep quote.
Yeah.
Like, P ain't here, but it's like, you know, we can't control the hand that God dealt him with the sickle cell. You know what I'm saying?
De La, Tribe.
Yeah.
You know, Wu-Tang got 9 members.
NWA.
But, you know,
NWA.
NWA.
Ain't no Easy, Mike. Easy been gone.
Yeah. If Easy was here, who knows? We might have got another.
Actually, you want to know what, Mike? About the career longevity quality, I might be willing to exit out just because so many groups have had group members that are passed. The Roots don't have Malik B.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a little different than the solo stuff because the solo stuff is like just a few, but a lot of groups have lost guys. Gangstar.
Because, I mean, a lot of the guys that we lost have been in groups. Jam Master Jay.
Yeah, Gangstar.
Gangstar.
Yeah.
Damn, it's a lot. Damn, it's most of our groups, Mike. Most of our big groups have lost somebody. Wu-Tang Clan don't have ODB, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they got 9 members. They were able to recover.
That's why Wu-Tang's
but, you know.
number one, Mike, though.
But honestly, Wu ain't been the same since he's been gone. Honestly, that's why the W
Mike,
is the way it is, because he's not
shit,
involved.
Mike, if you want to know the truth,
Yeah.
I've always told people this. Well, go look at how many times RZA's cousins, the Jizza and Old Dirty Bastard on Enter the Wu-Tang. Go listen to how many times that they're on Wu-Tang Forever, and that's the difference.
I mean, look at the Lost Boys. They ain't been the same since Freaky Top.
You're right. We can't do career longevity quality. All these niggas done lost niggas.
Yeah. Michael Williams with the Super Chat says, what's the better song, Hustle Music or Hustle's Ambition? Hustle's Ambition.
Hustle's Ambition.
Yeah. CJ Kidd with the Super Chat says, NWA and Posse came out in 86 before SOC and N4L. Let's see. We got some more Super Chats here, I believe. I think we just saw one. Jay Short says, the only group in discussion for the number 1 spot is Public Enemy, NWA, and Wu-Tang, Outkast, Tribe. Outkast and Tribe. Next tier, everyone else can fight, including Dipset.
De La and Mobb Deep would be my next people that I would think of.
Oh, yeah, and I can't forget one of my personal favorite groups. Yeah, 3 6 has lost 3 people. They've literally lost half of their group.
3 6 is up there, too, though.
Yeah, 3 6 has lost half of their group.
Okay, so right now the categories that transfer are impact, live performance, lyrics, classic albums, classic songs, longevity of albums.
Longevity of songs as well, all right?
Oh, right.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 categories. So do you want to implement 2 more categories that are kind of group oriented, kind of like a chemistry category type thing, or that's kind of hard to quantify?
That's kind of hard to qualify.
Maybe we could just run with these 7.
Ooh, I mean, is there something? Well, impact takes care of a lot of things: live performance, lyrics, classic songs, longevity, albums.
What do y'all think out there? Is there something we're missing?
I mean, Mike, I only say this, and if somebody calls me Wu-Tang biased for this, Mike, does the solo work matter from the artist within the camp?
No, I don't think that's fair because that's not attributed to the group.
If they did it under the context of the group, though, no?
Nah, I think that gets dicey.
All right. Okay. No, I'm just asking because it's like I think about Easy Does It for NWA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know what it does for Wu-Tang. That's a given. But Wu-Tang might be number 1 on this list without that. You feel me?
Right. Now, I think it's only fair to count the group albums and the group songs. Because, again, if we count if we count individual songs under the Wu-Tang umbrella, this ain't. Yeah.
Is there something that we're missing?
That's what I'm trying to ask the people. Off the top of my head, I can't really. All right, what are the ones that didn't translate over? Voice,
storytelling, voice, career longevity, quality, classic collaborations.
Okay. Do you think production needs to be in there since many of these groups have producers within the group?
I'm with the production side of it. Because I think because the group feat is so hard to pull off, your production matters even more than it does with a solo artist because you have to find beats that fit an array of styles, not just one.
Because in most of
Like,
these groups, though, the producer is in the group. Most of the groups
right,
that we're
but
talking about.
right, but here's what I'm saying too: is like, well, how about this? Let's go to Unbelievable on Ready to Die. Well, how many members of the Wu-Tang Clan can rap as effectively to Unbelievable as Biggie? Because I would just tell you Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard, and then the rest of them would be probably not as well on that beat. I would tell you that beat's great for Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard, but not great for anybody else in the clan. So production does matter. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so Primo can't give Clan that beat.
Production's big for Tribe. You know,
huh?
Production's big for Tribe. Production's big for Daylight.
Production's everything for Tribe because lyrically, I actually think that they might be the weakest of all the all-time great groups, Mike.
EPMD's production is big for them as well.
I think EPMD is the next tier down. That's what I mean. Tribe is in the upper echelon. I actually Run DMC's lyrics would come into question more than Tribe's probably.
I think production's big for them too.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
KC1 with the super chat says, y'all need to give the lyrics to Wu. Why bother? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not giving lyrics to anybody. It's more about setting up a format where we're putting people in the ringer the same way we kind of put MCs in the ringer. So it's not about Wu-Tang being the best lyrical group ever. I think we already know that. It's about how it kind of parses out when we're trying to parse it together.
Okay, so we got Impact, live performance, lyrics. Classic albums, classic songs, longevity of albums, longevity of songs, production, and what else? Performance, lyrics, classic songs, longevity of album, songs, production. I mean, Mike, I really don't know where else to take it, but we need a category as a tiebreaker because there's 8 categories right now. Yeah, or we need to take out something. I got to run in a second too. I know this
me too.
game is about to start.
We need to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes. You want to run somebody through the rubric and maybe we can think about what category we're missing?
Yeah, let's run somebody through the rubric, Mike, and let's see if we can't get another category, or we'll take the category.
I want to say this though. I want to say this about Static's album real quick because I don't want to skip that too much because
I'm about to say we can talk Static on Monday too because I feel like it deserves more run than we're about to get it.
Okay, it does deserve more run. I think for anybody who hasn't heard it, some really dope records on there. I don't understand why the Trapped in the 90s hip hop fans don't herald Static Selector more than they do, but we'll talk about it more on Monday.
I'm about to say, I actually think we can actually wrap Monday's show around the whole Trapped in the 90s theme and how Static Selector is actually one of the guys that's executing it at such a high level.
At a high level. And putting together collaborations that we only dream of and making them work.
That's what I want to talk about, too.
Yeah.
But also, too, Mike, see how much Griselda and Wu-Tang be on there and types. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Who you want to run through? Are we gonna do MF Doom today?
We can do Doom. All the thirsties. Where do you want to start Doom at? I feel like starting him at 41 where Talib is.
I'm fine with that. Perfect.
All right. Impact.
Doom.
Yep. Live performance.
Doom.
Lyrics.
Doom.
Classics.
That might be Doom too, actually.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I was going through the other one. Storytelling.
Okay.
But live performance, impact, and lyrics are Doom over Talib.
Yeah.
I give you. Storytelling might be Talib.
Okay.
Classic albums, is that Doom?
I think it is.
Classic songs, is that Talib?
That's Talib.
Longevity of albums?
Doom.
Black Star's first album came out in 97.
Okay, let's go Talib on that.
And Train of Thought, Mike.
Yeah.
So
I love Train of Thought. Let's go Talib.
Yeah. Longevity of songs, I think that's Talib too.
But you know what?
Doom?
Doom was actually in a group first in the early 90s. But okay, I don't want to go there. We're not going to go there. go ahead. What were you saying?
DMX was out. That's like saying DMX was out in 1991 with Born Loser, Mike.
It ain't like
about
that.
To let you do that.
It ain't like that.
Let you do that. Classic collaborations.
That's Doom.
That's Doom easy. Hold on, 1, 2, 3. Career longevity quality.
That's Talib. I don't
It
know,
is.
man. Doom started really
Voice.
early. I'll go Talib on that though. Voice. Oh, you talking about voice? Between the two of them, I think I'm
Yep.
going Doom.
And that's the tiebreaker, Mike.
Okay.
So Doom's moving on.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "I take that back, Coop. It's Vince McMahon of the Wu Tang is the Rock. I'm sorry, he said you're Vince McMahon. Wu Tang is the Rock. Y'all include RZA's beats to help Wu.
Yeah.
They don't need all that help. No, I mean NWA got Dre. What you talking about?
First of all, you can't smell what I'm cooking.
NWA got Dre. Mobb Deep got Havoc.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Tribe
All these
got
dudes.
Q-Tip. It helps
And guess
everybody.
what? These groups are great because guess what? They all have
Yeah.
great producers in the group.
We gotta put
EPMD has
producers
Eric
in
Sermon,
there.
motherfuckers. You know the E part of PMD is Eric Sermon, right?
Yeah, we gotta put production in there.
Right. What are we talking about, Mike? We talking about Havoc. We talking about Q-Tip.
Premier.
You know what I'm saying? We talking about Preem.
Yeah.
Dre. What y'all talking about?
Pete Rock.
Pete Rock. We talking about the best of the best.
Yeah.
Look, there's a reason they're all on Illmatic. Nas was listening to all the group albums. It's like, yo, they don't do solo record shit.
Shit, yeah, we can go Breaking Atoms too when you talking about Large Professor.
Large Pro, Main Source. I got Main Source on the list somewhere too, Mike, because they made Breaking Atoms. It's a classic. All right, Doom and Beans, Mike, Impact.
Doom.
I agree. Live performance.
Shit, I don't know, man. Bean's a dope live performer, but I think that
He is.
might
I
be
think
Doom.
that's Doom.
That's Doom.
Lyrics is Beans.
Yeah.
Storytelling Beans. Classic albums. That's Doom.
That's Doom.
I think classic songs is Beans.
That's Beans.
Longevity of albums.
I think that's Doom.
Beans is first though. When Mad Villainy come out?
Mad Villainy was 04, but Doom had albums out in 99. I'll give that to Beans. Because the Truth hit right away.
The Truth came out in 99 too.
Yeah, Truth hit right away.
Yeah. Longevity of songs.
That's Beans.
That might be Doom.
You think so?
You think that's Beans? It might be Doom. According to how people talk in this chat, yeah.
Okay.
I would tell you that his songs for his demographic have held up more than Beans songs have held up for his demographic.
It's just always so tough to gauge with Doom being such an underground king. You know what I mean?
Right, but what's the Beans song that you're going to, Mike? Because it's like when I think
Feel It
of
in the
Beans,
Air.
Feel It in the Air.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think that's high
What
enough
about
for the
Rock
amount
the
of
Mic?
volume. Is that his record or is that a state prop record?
Yeah. I mean, we got to give him credit for it. You know what I'm
cool
saying?
with I'm actually cool with tying that.
Okay.
Classic collaborations.
That's Beans.
It is Beans.
Mm-hmm.
Rhyme with Hov a whole lot. Career longevity quality. That's Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Voice is Beans.
Yep. CJ Kid with the super chat says, love performance for Doom. It's tricky because he's had fake Dooms, calling them Doom bots, perform instead of him. Low key kind of foul, but that's what makes his performance great too.
So Doom fell in after after Beans, but before Talib, so he's at 41.
I like that. Jay Short with super chat says, Mike and Coop, next criteria, number of members in the group. Wu gets that too, right? The more the merrier.
Yo, I like that. Actually, you want to know what?
I like the production category, by the way. You got Bomb Squad and Public Enemy. It's awesome.
Actually, here's what I was about to ask you, Mike. I think we need to have a peak year relevancy might be the tipping point here. As in, how many years was this group relevant, like at the forefront? What's their peak? So I would tell you that production and then peak, as in Wu-Tang's peak is 93 to 97. Run DMC's peak is like 85 to 87. You know, you get what I'm saying?
You're talking about how long?
What's your peak impact really look like? Because it's like when people talk about NWA, it's like, well, Mike, it started about 1988 in terms of their peak, but it was over by like 1990, 91. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I think your peak and how long you were great matters. Here's somebody that it helps. De La. Like, De La was great in 89, but they were great in 96.
It's kind of a longevity discussion, but in a different way.
We don't have a longevity discussion in here. We have the longevity of albums and songs. We don't have the peak moment. You get what I'm saying? Because the thing with all these rappers, solo artists rapping so late, is that it's hard to, we know what their peak looks like, but we can't really like hold it against them because they've had so many other years. Most of these groups haven't had that. Most of these groups
Right.
have an ascension, they have a peak, and then they dissipate. You
Peak
feel me?
moments. Okay.
Right. Like, think
T-Nitty
about this. Like, what's Wu-Tang's peak, really? Because it ain't the fucking Iron Flag and the W. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you're right.
Run DMC's peak ain't fucking Down with the Kings.
You're right.
Raising Hell. Like, you know what I'm saying, is their peak. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, I think we need to document how long the groups were really like the fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mike, Brand Nubian was like the man for like 6 months with All for One. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, that shit need to be documented.
T-Nitty with the super chat says, Doom was a part of a song. Was a part of that song, Gas Face, with Third Base. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Longevity's crazy on that. Are we going to do one more person before we get out of here?
Yes, I'll, so the next person that we had, hold on, let me get to, where are we at? Tretch would be next.
You want to do Tretch now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's do it.
No time like the present before we got to dip. Everybody ready to watch the game. We right on time this time, Mike. We had to cut a couple topics, but we'll just run them down.
Yeah, we'll get to that Monday. That's why it's good to write it down. Where
do you want to start Tretch at? I got Cam at 46.
Let's go there.
Okay. Impact.
Cam.
Live performance.
Tretch.
Yep. Lyrics.
Tretch.
Tretch.
I'm going to surprise people on that. It's not by a lot, but Tretch is crazy there.
It ain't by a lot, but it ain't by a little either.
I think it's by a little. Cam is a dope lyricist.
He not Tretch on.
No, Tretch got it.
I think you're underrating Tretch on the mic. Storytelling.
I think that's Tretch.
Tretch got more than you Ty Jr.
Yep.
Literally talking about being with you.
Everything's gonna be all right, you know.
Yeah, classic albums.
That's Cam.
It is. Classic songs. Stretch.
Yeah.
Because you ain't beating no damn OPP in hip hop.
Those are big ass songs. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that oh boy, and all that. Hey, that ain't. That's what it is over here. It ain't oh boy over here. It's when you against Stretch. Longevity of albums.
I think that's Cam, man, because they're more about the songs.
The flag. I feel you. Yeah. Longevity of songs. Well, that's Tretch.
That's Tretch. Yes.
Classic collaborations. That's Cam.
Cam.
Career longevity quality. That's Cam.
Yep.
Oh, it's coming down to voice, Mike. I'm taking Tretch voice. Okay. Put it in the chat and then we can get out of here. No, put it in the chat. I seen how you was thinking and I thought about it too. And we're going to let the people vote, get the 50 and get out of here so everybody can go watch the game. Tretch versus Cam. And even if Tretch move is on by some chance, we'll pause him right here and we'll pick up Tretch on Monday.
All right.
And we'll talk about the Static Project. Shout out to Drumwork and Love for making another album of the year contender. Juneteenth event, June 17th, FDL Compound, swag event hosted by Ryan Cameron. Shout out to Big Oomph for always giving us the mixtapes up on Concord Road when I moved up to Cobb County when I was 20. Didn't know where the fuck I was because I'm really from the east side. And I was like, where the hell did my mama move to? Got me around all these white people, but there was a Big Oomph store on Concord Road in Smyrna. I go get all my crack music from. Shout out to Oomph. Kept me alive the first 2 years I was here. Almost hurt somebody. I was like, where is this? Like, this Cobb County? I was like, where's Memorial Drive? I was looking around, Mike. I was like, where the fuck is Memorial Drive? I'm like, where's Flash Shows and Candler and I was like, what has my mother done? I was like, where's Piedmont Road? I was like, where has she moved me to? I almost had a whole fit, but then I found a Big Home store on Concord. Calm down.
We are sleeping on KMD. Definitely. I mean, KMD is a dope group, but, Beans, I think that, if we're talking about solo act, you know what I mean?
Compton's Most Wanted.
Right, Compton's Most Wanted. We got to have KMD in there, too. 30 votes. It looks like Tretch is running away with the rap voice, so we'll hold him right there.
Right, we're going to hold Tretch. So Tretch is officially at 46, and Cam is down. That's what I mean. A lot of dudes who you love, it be the jam that you love, don't be getting no airplay.
All right, man. Great show. This was fun. We're going to holler at y'all. Y'all have a great not Wednesday. Y'all have a great weekend. Come out, like I said, to Rapper's Delight, 50 years of hip-hop. We're going to be out there kicking it, interactive stuff, man. It's going to be a great time.
Now, Mike, we got 55 MCs in here, but we still need to go back and we got stars by people we need to put back in before we need to. We need to go back through Lupe, Styles, Guru, T.I., Pusha T, and Wayne are the people who are already in here that we have starred that we need to put them back through because we feel like they might be too low.
All right. Well, we're going to holler at y'all. Have a great weekend.